today. The only competitive way for the weekend. We've got two different competitions going on, yes, but this is going to be impossible to do alone. So please make sure that you are helping out your fellow members as you go around the course today. Now, I do have one very special off-piece announcement to make.
Welcome, everyone, to Tough Mudder.
80 or more.
I'm Alan, as you know, and I've got with me this week, if you can hear us, Chris Shipley. How are you?
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? Just when everyone thought they wasn't going to get rid of me for an extra week, I managed to find my way on another airwaves.
You're always welcome to come on with us. I'm not sure everyone's going to be able to hear us at minute, Chris, so what we'll do...
Headbands. So seriously, give her another round of applause and carry over there. Okay. Listen up. I want to see everybody's faces, everyone's faces. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I am now going to give over to Amy, who is going to take you through the rules of the NC course today. Please get it in the long run.
Hello, welcome. A few of you that have never done a Tough Mudder before and you're starting with an Infinity, well done. I applaud you.
Well, Chris, we had Will there with a bit of sound, but then he's disappeared. So, watchers, I usually say listeners at this point, but watchers, we have got a treat in for you, the UKOCR series Northwest Tough Mudder 2024. 21 obstacles out on course. It's going to be a mud fest, Chris. What do you reckon?
A mud fest? That's just speaking lightly. I mean, come on, the rain that they're having right now and the rain that we've had all week. We did a preview show that I think everyone's listened to, and it's just a course of water, a few mandatory obstacles, and lots of mud. So I think it's going to be a real quagmire of events today. Without
a doubt. And, you know, I mean, the race has not started yet, but the first obstacle they're going to come to is Kiss of Mud. Now, I've been to Northwest. Kiss of Mud, under the barbed wire, it is a mud fest. Luckily, they've had no one on there, but I know Tough Mudder, they will have put water down. So I think the key here is that they're going to get out, but there's a challenge here, Chris. These guys and girls are going to be running with Infinity runners. So I think that start's going to be imperative to get off fast. Yeah, well, I think the Infinity runners, they're doing a bit of an endurance race anyway, so they're not going to be going off too hot. So I don't think it's going to take too much time for any of our front runners to get ahead. Just put that pace down, and I think they'll do really well just to get ahead of those runners. There won't be too much mix up. I'm going to take your word on that. If it was me out there, I'd be wanting to do, was it a Mr. Newey down at Spartan in 2016? Get out there fast, show them I can lead it out from the front, mess up their race. There's a lot of things that could happen during this race, Alan. So we'll see how it goes, shall we? We shall see after it goes. Now, for our watchers, normally we would have a buggy at this point, Chris, but we've just been told that we can't have a buggy today due to the weather. So apologies there. So we're not going to be able to follow all the live action on every obstacle, but we have Will and Kelly out there today who are going to be trying to get as much of the action and some interviews and that for us while we're out there. Shall we go through a little bit of the start list, Chris? I know you've done this on the Who's Hot, but for people who are watching, shall we go and see what we can see? So, yeah. Ramonas, Russell, Dassos. Who else have we seen today in the men's? So, I think I'm trying to look at the screen just to see if there's any sort of faces. Is that James Burton we can see? It is. James Burton's there. James Burton. I want to see some of the ladies, because the ladies' field is where we want to see some of the real key players taking part. I can see Libby there. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold. Shyla's there, I can see. Now, I do understand that Emma McCree's there, but I haven't seen her as of... Oh, there she is in the background. I can see Emma in the background there in the Team Nuts vest. So Emma's the one who can actually make some big impacts, some big inroads up in this list today, ain't she? Yeah, we was having this discussion before we came on, didn't we? And we thought, didn't it come out? So if she needs to get third or higher, was it you said, Alan? third or higher, and she is going to make some big moves. Her worst place at moment, I do believe, is a fourth in the. So this is in the Masters section. Sorry, as well, Chris. So if she can get third or higher in the Masters section in this race, she is going to jump up. Her worst place is a fourth place in the Masters results. So, and when you think about it, out there today, we've got no Laura Haywood, and we've got no Louise Ferryman. I don't think Ruth Battis is there. So I think she's going to jump. I think, she's going to get first or second in that Masters position today. I think overall, if she finishes about 6, she's going to get in about 6. Then she jumps up as well in the normal standings.
Yeah, she's really got a kind of the race where she had to turn up just to make that dominance and where she could get in that second place. And that's what it's come down to sometimes in these races. It's like when you turn up for the race, that's when you can make an impact. And if the other key players don't turn up, you've just sort of sewn it up. So, that's just how it goes sometimes in these races.
Without a doubt. And I think that's where we've got, I know Dan's come straight from the Worlds last week. He's had a week off. He's come here this week. I mean, Dan Titcombe's going to be a little bit tired, but he's come to the race. He wants to consolidate and do what he's done for the last 2 years, I think, Dan, and get 4 out of 4 wins. He's currently got 3 wins and a second. So I think he's going to go for the whole, for that perfect race season again, isn't he?
Well, that's right. If he wins today, he's had 4 race wins overall in the series. I mean, Dan has won the series time and time again. He's probably the most proficient obstacle racer over the longer sort of distances that we got in the UK. But we've got people on his heels. I mean, Russell Walsh, he's been trying to win every series going. And I think he's currently in second place. So he does have the possibility to do it. So the battle between Dan and Russell is going to be where it's at. We know that Russell is a mud monster and he can put pace down on mud. Dan, he's a little bit light on the legs, so he can make a good impact, but it's just going to be a battle to see who can do it on that front. Those two have been keying up the whole race series, and it's been battle after battle. We've got no Morgan Maxwell in this race because he can't get the time off work, but he's currently sitting in 3rd place. I don't think that's going to change at all. But just Russell and Dan, that's going to be where it's at. That's going to be the ones to watch.
Definitely. I'm actually surprised I haven't seen Finlay in the field. Because Finlay, if he'd have turned up, he could have actually made an impact and taken 3rd off Morgan. So, I think if Finlay had maybe looked at the results and thought, I'm 37 points behind Morgan. If I can go and get a good result here, I could be pushing up into that 3rd place, get on that podium at the end of the season, which would have been great for Finlay at his age. I mean, if 4th is great, I'm not going to take that away from him.
Well, I was down at Rumble at the time trial last week with Finlay, and Finlay put down an absolutely impressive time. He absolutely blew it away. And, I think he really, really wanted to come to this race. It's just, he can't get to all of them like some people. But that boy has been showing his potential all through the year. I mean, this would have been a really great race for him. He blew Russell's time out the water last week on the time trial. Absolutely smoked him. I mean, this would have been a great one. We did Tough Mudder with him. So when Will gave us the opportunity to come down and take part in the Tough Mudder, me and Finn went down there as well. Bit of the podcast teams going down there to have a little bit of fun. And Finlay's great on these sort of obstacles. He's awesome for it. So not having him here, real shame. Real shame.
Yeah, definitely. Let's quickly talk about the men's Masters, because this could get mixed up today. We could see a change of position at the top. This is going down to the wire. We have got Ramonas Wickers, 1,557 points, and Dasa Scanella behind him on 27 points behind him. Only 27 points in it. This comes down to basically 2 or 3 positions. If Dasos can get 3rd place, Ramonas has got to get above 6th, and Dasos could actually challenge. I've got a feeling Dasos could be on the ball here and actually challenge for the overall race. We talked about Dan and we talked about Russell just then, but we can't take it away from Dasos. He's done it before. He's been at the front in the big races. I'm not going to take it away from him. I think he's got a chance of winning this.
Yeah, I mean, when we take a look at the attribute points of these 2 athletes, I mean, Das is the faster runner. Ramunas, he is the carrier. He's the strength guy. He's the obstacle proficient guy. But in this particular race, there isn't that many technical obstacles. It's going to be a case of running, and Das's attribute points on the running, it just scores higher than Ramunas's just overall on that. So yeah, I think Das might take it, but you never know. You just never know these days. Das has just come back from Havar and a fantastic season out there. He's had a bad toe. You know, these are all little factors that could play a part in this. It could change up the strategic element of this, and the storyline could change.
Completely agree. If you're in Ramunas's shoes at this moment in time, and you're an elite athlete, Chris, you know, you're right up there. What would be your game plan? You know, you're winning the Masters League. You know you've got to get within a position of Das. Do you track him and stay as close as you can, or do you go all out and try and break him?
Well, I actually know Ramunas' strategy because we've all seen it. So I'm pretty sure he'll just be trying to run his own race. He knows that if he just sticks to what he does, he could do it. He always comes from behind. He's always consistent staying where he is. And I think Das will know that. Das knows that he can't actually let his eye off the ball because Ramunas always just appears from behind. He can just appear, be there, make moves when it counts on the obstacles. And if you make a mistake, that's when Ramunas capitalizes on it. That's when he does his job.
And we saw that at the Beast, didn't we? Down at Bodyhub, we saw him make the move that he made on both Russell and Dan at the Beast was phenomenal. Coming from third place into that obstacle section and just flying past them. But that's his strength, as you mentioned. His strength is in the obstacle efficiency.
Yeah, he kicked my ass at that one as well.
Now this is the Infinity Wave. We always go a little bit further.
If anyone's never done a Tough Mudder, this is going to be the pledge. So what we'll do is we'll let them do the pledge. Hey, Chris, we'll stay quiet for this bit.
We are now going to get every single one of you ready for the Tough Mudder course. The only thing left to do is the Tough Mudder Infinity Pledge. When I say repeat after me, I don't just mean say it. I don't mean mumble it. I mean shout it back at me. And when you're shouting it, listen to every single one of those words because that's what makes Tough Mudder Tough Mudder. Repeat after me. As a Tough Mudder, I pledge that. As a Tough Mudder, I understand that this is a race and a challenge. I will uphold the Tough Mudder values of teamwork and camaraderie. I will not quit. This is why. Look someone deep in their eyes and say, I overcome all fears. Take a stand for me, you bunch of legends. Thank you, gents, your job is done. Everyone else, bounce it. Bounce it. Hey.
So we're just about to start here. Chris, the big boys are on the front.
That's it. And it looks like the rain has stopped, so we might have a little bit of a faster start than I presumed.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully. I'm not convinced. What shoes would you be wearing at this point? I'd be in my VJ XTRMs or my IROX, something that's going to give me the maximum grip in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I'd definitely be in my IROX. Yeah, definitely. Something with a good old lug, something that can shed the mud, something that drains water really well, something that's just, light underfoot. You're not going to need anything with a lot of cushioning on this race.
No. And when you come to the actual obstacles and that, out there, you don't need, you need a bit of grip on the obstacles. The wood's going to be wet. Everything you're going to go. I mean, Everest is going to be fun today. It's going to be virtually impossible, I think, Everest for people out there today to race on, to actually get up, which is a bit of a shame because Everest is a bit of a game changer.
Yeah, Everest is really difficult, and there's going to be no people at the top helping anyone on this one. So if we got no one at the top, you're going to have to really, really commit to making that impact on it. So yeah, if you can't run up that, you've got to really try.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's talk about the course for a little bit. Let's give our punters who'll probably not listen to Who's Hot a little bit of a rundown of the course. So we have got 22 obstacles. However, one of them I do believe is not in the race. Starting off with Kiss and Mud. See, now you've thrown that at me. And I'm going to have to look at my notes now. I have got notes. Funny enough, I've got notes for this, actually, which is not usually for me and me. So I want to turn around and say it is. Let's go through it. I wasn't
Yeah.
told about it. There was only one.
Go through the list, Alan, and then when
Let's go
it
through
comes
the
to your
list.
head, you can remember.
I can remember it, yeah. So we've got Kiss and Mud, which is the barbed wire crawl. This is going to get them all mudded. The good thing about this, yeah, is it's early on, Chris. I hate this type of obstacle when it's late on and you've got obstacles that are going to need upper body strength afterwards. So get it in there early, get them all muddy. You know, they've got time then to wipe their hands on the shirt, get it a little bit clean before something a little bit more technical comes. When I did Europe's toughest mudder, they had it quite near the end, and they followed with a couple of obstacles that you need a grip on, which I didn't like. I'll get it in there, get it done early.
Yeah, not only that, it separates the field a little bit. It gives those faster runners and the slower runners a little bit of chance to separate a little bit, spread the field, make it a little bit easier when it comes to some of them more congested obstacles. Just something to spread the field up a little bit, like a nice hot knife through butter.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's not race directors don't look at an obstacle like this to split the field. You know, they look at it just as an obstacle. So what they'll do is they'll give you a run with some hills and that in, which doesn't always split the field. We know that, you know, especially when you get the top athletes, they can run hills just like the next person. So you get to the first obstacle, no matter what, you're going to get 10, 12 people there. So just give them an obstacle that's they've got to sort of slow down. The fun runners, it doesn't matter. If they're queuing a little bit early on, they're going to be warm from the warm-up, so get them in there. Second one, Swamp Stomp. Now, I do believe this is just a real muddy, gloopy pit. So when I did Northwest, it was thick. And Tough Mudder, normally, I don't know if it's going to be on this case, they normally don't put the markings through the middle of it. So quite often, as the race goes on, you'll get the fun runners skirting it a little bit. But if you have to go through the middle, it is gloopy. I want to say, you know, Nuclear's, what's the Nuclear one that's just that James built, and he actually dug the hole, filled it back with plastic, then put the mud back in and filled it with water. So
is it Ebenezer?
Gloopy. Ebenezer, that's the one, yes.
Yes.
It's like that. But it's
I've been stuck in Ebenezer before during a race. It is not the nicest thing to do. It's such a difficult thing. Running through mud, thick mud, is a skill on its own. You need some serious strength. You need that core strength. You need arm strength. You need leg strength. You need to be able to breathe, because when you're trapped in there, you can't breathe. You ever been stuck in quicksand, Alan? No.
No, sorry. I was thinking of stuck in quicksand. Then I thought it was going to continue. I haven't actually been stuck in quicksand. Sorry, my fault, there, because I've been stuck in quicksand. But I have actually done a course in how to escape from quicksand, and that was done in mud, and it was very much like Ebenezer. You want to know how to get out of it? I'll tell you.
I don't. Go on, tell me. Do tell me.
So if you're stuck in quicksand or mud, and the whole idea is you lean forward and you put your stomach on the top of it, and then you wiggle one leg. So you just keep wiggling one leg until you can actually lift it out, and then you lay that leg down. So you're now at a T position. Your stomach's on the sand, your back leg's on the sand. Then you wiggle the other leg, okay? And you wiggle that out and you keep on loosening it until eventually you can pull it out, and then you're laid flat on the top. You are going to slink slightly, so you put your arms out, and the idea is then you just swim slowly to the edge, and that's how you get out of quicksand and really deep mud.
See, I thought you just grab the nearest python, throw it over a tree, and pull yourself out.
That would be the best way. I love that. Grab a python, throw it over. That's like Tarzan. You've got Tarzan things in your head.
Well, I'm always wearing a loincloth, that's for sure.
Third one, island hopping. So obstacle 3, they come up to island hopping. I'm not sure what island hopping is. I'm going to turn around and say you're running through there's a bit of a pond, I want to say here.
Yeah, I do believe
remember it myself.
We quickly spoke about it, I think, on Who's Hot, and it's a specific obstacle to this particular Tough Mudder. It's in a lake, I think, and you go between two sort of man-made or actual islands and just swim in it. A little bit like at Nuts when you go through the lake and then onto the pontoons and then into another section, I do believe.
Yeah, I think when they had it when I was there, it was like one of those you know, Rat Race Dirty Weekend, in the middle of the lake, they put them grey pontoony things. I'm sure there was them something like that there when I did it, but I you know, my mind's going. I'm getting a bit old now, you know.
Aren't we
Alzheimer's
all?
cooking in.
Oh,
Oh, we got Will here, so Will's back online.
I don't know whether you can hear me. There's no buggy following the whole lot around because there's so many no drives, so that the buggies are going in tandem, or kind of just jumping each other. Hence why we're not able to go on the front one. So I've just run over to Island Hopping. I think it's about 3 kilometers in. So I'm going to stay here, watch the front runners go through. You can possibly see the pontoon from here. So it's definitely a very large wade or a swim onto the pontoon, wade back out, and then off again. So I'll be able to get a bit of the action whilst I'm here. But I'll put myself back on and then jump in as and when.
Will's really got his work cut out for him today with no buggy. He's got to try and keep up with these athletes, and that is no easy task.
No, that's going to be a very tough task. But what perfect timing there for us. You know, we were talking about Island Hopping and Will jumps in.
I see a buggy. I see a buggy. So we might the front, or it might just be a false alarm. Sorry, looks like
Show him your
sorry.
Show the buggy your British Obstacle Sports card and just hijack that buggy, Will.
So I'm actually near the end, and there is a road that the buggies are driving down that go past the A-frame, Pyramid Scheme, Everest, right towards the finish. So if potentially when they're coming towards the end, I can go on a buggy.
So we've got Dan coming in now.
A road that goes right past.
Followed by Russell.
Oh, so Dan's leading. Did you hear that, Chris? We've got Dan Titcombe leading and Russell Walsh in second place.
Now, this is typical sort of strategic elements from Dan. Dan's always going to try and go off hot, make a little bit of a gap, and then just see who can hang with him, because he knows he's got that pace. He knows he can run fast. But this is when it's going to start coming in, when we start going through some of these mandatory bits, the swims, the bits that can just bring everyone back together and just change the pace up. Let's just see how it goes. So Russell's right in behind him. See how much time he's just grabbed back in there, his long legs.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting now.
Not only that, this water's going to be cold. I mean, it's been raining. I mean, Becky, our little lab assistant, she always mentions that how the water temperature stays warm. But, you know, you're going to be running warm, jumping into that cold water. It's going to be a shock to the system.
Yeah. It looked there as though when Dan jumped in, he got stuck a little bit in the mud where Russell waded in and went past him there. Did that look about right to you? The pictures are not great because we've got a little bit of rain on the camera, but hey-oh.
And then they go again. So it looks. Oh no, that was the battle for third and fourth, I presume, is it?
I believe that was it.
That's Ramsey, then James in third, fourth, and fifth.
Lovely.
I think I got Das and Ramunas in third and fourth. I didn't quite get the fifth place then.
James Burton, was it? Will?
He's running now. He's not going to speak to us while he's running to keep up with these guys.
So what we saw there, though,
fast.
what we saw there with Ramunas hanging right behind Das, he knows what he needs to do for that. He's pushing hard, and it's going to be a real. We'll love to see how he handles it towards the end of the race, to see if he can really maintain that speed element all through this race. What are we looking like distance wise? It's 10 miles or 9, is it?
Yeah, between 9 and 10 miles. You never know with Tough Mudder. Sometimes they come up short, sometimes they come up spot on, sometimes they come on long. So it's going to be interesting, you know, when we see the Garmin results and the Strava results afterwards. What was the actual distance? I like a bit of a race like that, me, Chris, where you're not 100% sure what the distance is. You know, a little bit extra, a little bit less, because it just adds that little element. If you're a road runner and you know you're going to go and run 10K, you know exactly what pace you can go and run 10K, don't you? Whereas if you're an OCR athlete and they say it's approximately 10K, you know, your paces are going to be a little bit off.
Yeah, I don't mind it a little bit off, but when it's a couple of Ks off, that's when it becomes a bit of a, especially for an athlete sort of point of view, because we've trained to take sort of gels at the right time. We want to know when to push hard, but when you are battling and you realise you've got an extra K to go, God, you have to find something extra.
So
Would you say 1 kilometre difference would be acceptable then either way, or would you say that would be too much?
It would be borderline, I would say, borderline acceptable.
There we go. All the race directors out there now, go and check your course. Make sure you know more than a kilometre, or Chris is going to give you a bad review. Only joking, people.
Yeah, no one wants a bad review from me. I don't think I've got a bad review in me. Do you know I've only ever complained about bad food once in my life?
Oh, what was your bad food? Tell me about your bad food. People like things like this.
It was some sort of chicken thing. So I went to this fancy restaurant, and you know when they bring, like the French people bring over one of those metal things over the top. You know when they reveal it. I don't know what they're called, but they hide it. So anyway, I ordered this chicken food. It came over. I had no idea what it was because it was in some French restaurant. They bring it over. They unveiled it, and all it was just a bit of like burnt chicken and some like vegetables. And I paid. It was quite expensive, and I wasn't quite happy about it. So that's the only time I've complained. Only time. Very disappointed.
Oh, you're typical British. You don't complain. I complain. I would admit, if I go out to eat and it's not right, I don't mention. I don't ask for nothing off, no discount. Like, I like to turn around and say that wasn't right or whatever. Only because I want businesses to succeed, and if we don't give them constructive or the correct feedback, then they're going to make the same mistakes time and time again. So yeah, I will always tell them, and I never kick up a fuss. I just say, yeah, when they come over at the end and they say, how was your meal? I said, this was great, that was great. However, that could have just been done a little bit different, or not cooked as long, or something like that. But let's get back to OCR.
Yeah, let's do that. We're sidewinding, aren't we?
Slightly digressing. So after Island Hopping, they've got Devil's Beard. Now, Devil's Beard is used on a hill here, which is a bit of a challenge, and they tend to tie it down really, really fast. I did Europe's toughest mudder here, I want to say three years ago, and this obstacle, Devil's Beard, took nearly everyone's band. Everyone was like handing their obstacle avoidance band in at this point, because it was time consuming. It was 5 minutes under. Even the top athletes were spending 5 minutes going up Devil's Beard. It was 4 or 5 cargo nets up a hill, tied down with tires or big bags. It looks easy, but it isn't sometimes.
Yeah, especially when those nets do get caked in mud, because they must gain about 4 or 5 kilos of weight on them. I don't know. I'm no mathematician, but you know, when you've got that on top of you, it becomes more of a claustrophobic effect. You're sitting in there, under there, trying to push your way through, and it's just weighing down on you, like the struggles of OCR weighing down on you.
I like that, the struggles of OCR weighing down on you. Next up is probably the first little bit of technical course, which is skid mark. So skid mark is like a reverse wall, but a little bit higher than the most that we know. Takes a bit of a technique to get over. Do they have something like skid marked in the Euros or the Worlds? Is there anything like that? Or is it just
so
reverse walls?
We just call them sort of inverted walls. So the walls that are facing the other way. This one is because they call it skid mark because you've got that sort of ramp that you slide down on the back. Obviously, when it's caked in mud, it leaves a nice big skid mark on the back of your trousers. Yeah, a lot of races have it. It's a really, really decent mandatory obstacle. It's a very difficult one to get over fast. If you've got a few of them, it changes the goalpost a little bit. But, you know, these are the ones where our agile, athletic obstaclers and athletes really sort of show their markers. This would be great for the front runners to presume at.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult when it's wet, though, and it's wet today. You know, it's a little bit hairier. I want to turn around and say, you know, that ledge at the top, you know, you've got to make sure you've got a really good grip. It's an easy obstacle for a lot of them, but the weather's going to add to it on this one, I think.
Super duper. I mean, it's high. I mean, it's what we're looking about 8 foot off the ground, I suppose, at its highest point. I mean, leaning back on yourself with wet hands and you fall off that could be some serious impact.
Yeah. Be a bit careful out there.
Yeah.
It looks like we've got Will back on with us here. So what's happening, Will? Where are we at this point?
So I'm just sticking at the pontoons for now, just so you can see how long it is. Dan came through first with Russ right on his tail, and then a bit of a gap, and then it was Russ, Das, James, and Ramsey all in a group. Becky is in first place, and Libby was following, maybe a minute or so behind. I don't know whether you can see the video so well, but it's a very long swim, a long wade onto the pontoon.
Yes, that
I'm
does
going
look
to
quite
head
a long
over
swim.
to, yeah. So I'm going to head over to Hero Wars to try and capture them. And I think Kelly's in the village, isn't she? So hopefully we'll get Everest and everything else. Actually, I've got Tough Mudder Wi-Fi. So once I'm back in the village, coverage should be much better.
We like that, Will. We like that. Will's always looking for the next little bit of extra, what do we call it there? Extra bit of, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Anyway,
just room.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to that women's sort of part there, Alan. So we had Becky leading the field and then Libby in the back. So those two have just come back from Havar, and then I'm pretty sure this swim's going to be nothing like it was back over in Havar. And Libby actually beat Becky at that race, so I'm pretty sure Becky's probably going to be trying to put some pace down just to show a little bit more that you can't take it to me again.
Yeah, I mean, Libby had a top race, didn't she? You know, she's gone out there, she's performed at the highest level, and which she has been doing for quite a while. But I think that's got to be right up there on one of her top races.
Yeah, our 2 point size obstacles are really, really showing that they're coming into their own now. Libby is coming into her own, showing that she's got it. She's traveling all over the world. She's getting her mark on. They're giving her shout outs on Race Brain. She's really showing that she's becoming the athlete that she's always wanted to be. And I think that's really good for her. And she's starting to make a mark and starting to really come up. Her running's good. Her obstacles are good. Yeah, it's amazing to see.
Do you think going to the Worlds and then coming to Havar and then she's now here 3 weeks in a row, this race might just be one race too much for her?
If it was anybody else, I'd probably say yes. But Libby just seems to thrive off doing that. You can't. She's just always traveling around and racing. I think if she was sitting at home doing nothing, that's probably when she'll suffer the most. I think this is when she's really in a happy place and doing well.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll give a quick shout out to her coach as well, Jack Carpenter, who's going through his own trials and tribulations at this moment in time. So big shout out to Jack. Hope you get well soon, Jack, and things start to look up for you.
Yeah, we got a link to his Just Giving page on our notes somewhere, haven't we, Alan?
Yeah, we've got links to, I think, if you're going to any of the UKOCR social media groups, there's links everywhere. If not, I will put another one on at some point today for people. Yeah. If you don't know, Jack has got cancer and he's battling it, and he's got a young family as well. So big shout out to Jack. Hope you staying well, Jack.
Yeah, we miss you, Jack.
Definitely. After skid mark, we've got cage crawl, another chance to get wet, and everything else. Nothing that they're going to mess these guys up. But then after cage crawl, we have got crybaby, and this is the first of the obstacles where athletes can use a band on. So the athletes out there, they have got bands. They've been given 5 penalty bands, so they can actually avoid 5 obstacles, but they have to take a time penalty. Okay, so if they lose a band, there is a 1.5 minute time penalty. The first one is crybaby. So right. If they fail it or don't do it, and I think this is because, and I like this idea. So we're actually at crybaby with the looks of that. Oh. We've got this perfect today, Chris.
Nice, because I was trying to remember what crybaby was.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of 3 obstacles. You can probably just see skid marked, which is inverted wall. I think, they're coming soon. They go over that way, which is cage crawl, which is not so far. And then they're back over here with Mike Massad, technical official. Is any smoke on? And I will go into crybaby. I don't know how dark it's going to be. There.
Ah, that's it. I remember now, Will. Yeah.
That one is hardcore. Yes. All right. Okay. So I can just see in the background. Don't know whether you can on this camera. Dan is in front, probably behind 10 meters or so to inverted wall, with us just behind. I'm going to stay here because I can really only catch 2 of the 3 obstacles. I can't follow them all the way to cage call. So Dan just coming over, and Russ again. Apologies, I don't know how close you can see, but they'll be running by me in a couple of seconds. There's still quite a bit of gap to the chasing pack. I can't even see where they are at the moment because this bit is actually the only undulating part. So it's in and out of a couple of hills and the trees. But if I stick somewhere around here, you'll get an idea of what that gap is looking like.
So there we go. We've got Dan out in front, looking strong.
Russell's not far behind. Yeah, Russell's not far behind.
Looks relaxed.
Yeah.
Do you look relaxed there? It looks relaxed to me.
Oh, he looked almost laying down on a bed. That relaxed.
So I heard you guys talking about the swim, and I don't know whether you caught it, but Dan jumped in first, but he got a shock. So Russell actually got in and got through to the pontoon first. By the time I got to the other side, Dan had actually caught him up. But it really did it's cold. It is cold. And it really gave Dan a shock. He needed a few seconds right at the beginning to kind of get his bearings. And even the water safety said, "Are you okay?" So it's cold. And it's a good shock.
Yeah, and we've seen Dan have a few troubles with cold water before in a few other races. I mean, this has got enough running on it to warm him up, but every time he's going to go through that cold water, is it going to be too much of a shock to the system? And just keep giving him little digs in the dark, like little just shove it back. Oh, I have to get back to running. Oh, it's cold again. I have to get back to running. And that could really play a key part.
And he's just gone into cage call, and I've just see Das. It looks like Das just coming over, just over inverted wall. So, what was that? A good 2 or 3 minutes gap between Russell and Dan, and then we've got Das, James, and they've lost Ramsey. He's a little bit further behind now. But yeah, so you can kind of see where the gap is.
Yeah, it's really showing that the attributes of the strong runners are starting to come through. This is where they're starting to pick away.
Definitely, without a doubt. Do you think at this moment, you said earlier on that Dan's goes out fast and it looks like he's trying to break Russell. Do you think he's going to push a little bit too hard and it could affect him later on, Chris?
It depends, because I mean, he knows his pacing. He knows how well he's got to run. He knows how hard he has to run. He knows what he can maintain. But it's like I said, it's those little shots in the dark, those little things that are just going to take chinks out of their armor. It's the same with Russell. It's not going to be different between the two of them. It's just going to be things that take little chinks out of their armor, put them back, make them slower, or it can go the other way. Little things can just give them a little boost. Sometimes you can get in the water that could make you really, really want to get going. And then you might get that battle thought going through your head. Oh, I've got to push harder. Just when it's this long of a race, so many things go through your head that it just changes your outlook on how you're performing.
Without a doubt, without this. So that looks like Ramonas there.
Yeah, hat backwards as always.
Yeah.
So you can now feel what the gaps are. And I thought, oh no, not yet. So, and that was the first Infinity runner, not far behind Ramsey. So of course, Infinity runners are running for another 7 hours after this. So they're going at a pretty good bloody pace.
Would that have been Grant Thompson that you can see? 'Cause I think Grant's down there, isn't he?
I don't know, if I'm honest. Sorry.
Oh. Putting you on the spot there, Will. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to. So Crybaby was the first one that they could have used their band on. As you saw, none of them did. Quite easy for most of these people. But as I was saying on this, Chris, they've done this for anyone who's potentially got breathing difficulties. So yes, it's difficult to go through Crybaby with the methylated spirits and that. Let's see how these two go.
Yeah, I was just looking at. So that's Das with who's Das with? James. Das and James together. James has pulled back some time. Really shows that these two have ran together so many times. They know their pacings. They train together sometimes. And James has come back after a season of injuries, and he's had great results. And he's looking to show that he's still the president that we know he is. He wants to dominate.
Yeah. I don't know, you wouldn't have seen, but Becky's just run through. She's on her way to cage call. So to be
Wow.
fair,
Yeah.
not that far behind, but I haven't seen Libby yet. So she's definitely starting to pull away.
I think Libby might come better in the second half. We know Libby's ability at running longer distances. You know, she does seem to be much stronger in the second half of a race, Libby, from when I've ran with her. Would you say that, Chris?
Yeah, yeah. Libby's definitely a slow burner. She really comes alive towards the end of a race.
Yeah.
There's Ramunis going under Crybaby. Let's see if he wipes his eyes.
He was straight through. He was straight through. So they're off to Sewer Rat now, Chris. Now, Sewer Rat is one of the worst. You know, we talked about Swamp Stomp being a little bit muddy, but Sewer Rat here is just as bad. And yeah, I don't envy them going through that. It's thick, it's glubby, it's like a peat. You go fell running where you are down there, Chris, in the peat bogs. I don't think you get many down south, do you?
Oh, there's some bogs down here. Yeah, we don't have the sort of hilly side of fell running down here, but we definitely got plenty of bogs, that's for sure.
Well, that's exactly what Sewer Rat's like. It is anyone who's ever been up in the Peak District and gone up on top of Kinder Scout and seen the bogs, that's the way. Like, there's Becky coming in to Crybaby, looking
strong. Yeah, looking good, looking strong there. See if she has a bit of crying coming out of this Crybaby. Now she's a.
Tell you all about the science of it next.
I was just about to tell you about the science of it. So now,
yeah, she wiped her eyes then.
She did.
To be fair, I think that was more to do with cage call, but so interestingly, sorry, before you carry on, I've just seen Shy, so she's on her way to Crybaby. I don't see, and I don't think I've seen Libby.
Oh no, that's interesting.
So could something have happened to Libby that's made her fall back?
Oh, okay. So I think we've got Shy now gone in second because here's Libby in third. So definitely something's going on. She's not running as flowy as what she normally does.
Maybe it's just been that cold water. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you run through cold water, usually when you see people slowing down with their run like that, that's usually an indication of how cold the water is or how cold their body's getting. Now, Libby's a phenomenal racer. She's done nuts 4 laps winter time many times, but with the travel that she's been doing, she's probably a little bit jet lagged. Her immune system is probably a little bit low. The cold may have affected her in ways that it never has done before.
Completely agree. And we're talking about the top echelons of athletes here who don't have a lot of fat on their body either, Chris. You know, I mean, we're talking around about 10-12% fat on their bodies, which, you know, if you jump into freezing cold water without neoprene on, that's going to take it out of you.
Yeah, the body type of an obstacle race is a lean, mean muscle machine, and the cold doesn't do well with that.
Yeah,
that's where we're going wrong, Alan. That's where me and you are going wrong.
That's definitely where I'm going wrong. I like to have that bit of meat on me for them cold waters.
Okay, I think this is Shy that's just come out of cage call. And Libby's just going into cage call.
So now, like go on out, Will.
No, I was just going to say I'm just going to stick here, wait for Libby to go, and then I'll run off to something else. But we'll just make sure we've got the podium places.
So if that's Shyla in second place, that means that she's going to secure a really good position in the overall standings. I think if Shyla gets, second or higher? Yeah, if she gets third or higher, she probably ties her points with Karen, and that really changes the things up.
Yeah, let's see where she is. Let's have a look at the quick standings now, and I'll give you her exact position, Chris. So I do believe she's in third. She's in third at 1785. So which is it's only 50 points behind Karen. So I don't know what Shyla's worst thing is, but she can improve on her worst result, then she's definitely going to jump up.
Yeah.
Here's Libby now.
How's she looking, Will? Does she look a little bit cold or? No, she actually looks quite composed. I wouldn't be surprised if she's just running her own race, knowing that she's got to put the right pace down. Maybe she thought she was overcooking it at the start. Maybe she's thought maybe I'll back down a little bit so I can maintain a decent pace. She's got ounce of like racing experience. She probably knows what to do. Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah, she's looking strong there. Maybe the water temperature just took it out of her, but she's like back to being composed and.
That's
And
very
that-
composed. Yeah, she knows
Yeah.
what to do. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, just taking
Yeah.
a little bit of fluids there.
Yeah, if you're cold, you don't take fluids on.
No. Yeah, she's looking completely in control of herself there, Chris. I think she's just running her own race. I think she's wanting to get the points in the bag and do as best she can. So good luck to her. And that. I'm sure we're going to come back to her in a second. Shall we continue with the obstacles?
Yeah.
So after Surat, they got really, really muddy. The next one up is they're going to get even more muddy because they're going to go through a mud mile. Now, this could suit Russell out front. His long legs, his long reach. I've seen Sean Merriweather actually just leap from one mound to the next. Dan's slightly shorter in stature. He might find it a little bit of a struggle to leap from one to the next.
Yeah, it definitely it's not going to be an easy one. Apparently, this mud mile's extremely muddy, so leaping might not be the best option because if you leap, you're going to get stuck, and getting stuck, you're going to stop. So you're going to have to pick that route through the mud mile. You know, make sure it's efficient, make sure it's easy going. Because don't forget, after you've done these sort of obstacles, these mandatory bits, you've got to go back into running. So you want to be able to come out of it and put down the right pace to completely keep going where you're going.
Yeah, I get that. You're quite right. You're jumping from one mound to the next. Your feet might just get slightly stuck. I'm not sure whether, I know it's muddy in the bottom, but I'm not sure whether the mounds are muddy. I can't remember what they were like. But then they get a nice good clean because they've got two water obstacles in Block Ness Monster, which wet, cold.
Yeah, and this is Will's favorite obstacle of all time, isn't it? This is the one where you've got it's like a square thing and you've got to try and get over it and it moves.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So as it spins, you pull it forward, you try and climb up it. It's usually done in teams. It's so easy to do in teams. It's much harder to do on your own. Again, this obstacle will favour Russell slightly with his tall reach than it will Dan.
Yeah.
Will we see them helping each other? I'm not sure. I don't know whether you would do, but let's see what happens. But it's going to be quite tough.
I can see runners coming.
Oh, so we're at Arctic Enema already. And
I'm not sure if they're going to Arctic Enema or if they are skirting round and going a different way, but I think that's Dan in front and Russell not too far behind.
Okay.
So they're still battling it out. They're still really pushing each other.
I think they'll push them right to the very end, Chris. I think we're gonna see this down to a pretty close finish. Will the season have taken out both of them because Russell's competed heavily in the Ultra Series.
Yep, and the 3K series. Don't forget, Russell's run the 3K series. He was trying to win the endurance. Well, he was trying to win all three of them. So he lost out a couple of weeks back at Spartan on the endurance series. He got lost. He had a mix up with his bag. I remember talking to him last week. He was really, really upset about it. I mean, he was almost crying as much as he was probably crying through Crybaby. And so he probably wants to secure 2 race wins overall. He's one of the best athletes and he just wants to show that.
He is, yeah, you're quite right. When it comes to the overall all round, he's right up there.
That's down through Arctic Enema, isn't it?
Out. Yeah, Dan's out. Russell is in the middle of it somewhere. There he is.
There he goes. Now, this is weird because that is cold. Arctic Enema is Arctic. This is going to be where you're going to have to really start moving. If you don't start moving after that, then that's when that cold really starts getting into you. What's the wind like down there?
Calm, quite mild, to be honest.
It's quite mild, so there's no cold bit of wind coming through.
Not at the moment, no.
No, so that really, if you don't have cold wind coming, when you go through a cold immersion like that, it doesn't get sapped off you. It doesn't, because when you sweat, I'll give you a bit of science. When you sweat and the wind comes in, that's how you cool yourself. So when there's no wind, you're not going to get cooled down as much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the wind factor, isn't it? In a lot of these races where water's involved, yeah, you get the shock when you jump in. But when you come out, if that wind is blowing, and it can be even quite mild, but if the wind's blowing, that chill factor it makes it feel twice as cold.
Yeah, that's right. We've all sucked our thumb and then blown on it at the end, and you can feel how cold that gets as soon as you blow on it when it's wet. It's just how it is.
Very much so. When I used to race competitive, not as good as you guys, but I used to find when I raced with a shirt on, and the wind factor was worse with a shirt on than when I ran topless, because I just felt the shirt just stuck to your skin, and there was sort of the wind made it feel cold. But if I ran topless, I dried quite quickly. Maybe it was just me, I'm not sure.
No, totally. I think the only sort of the material that seems to keep that from doing that is merino. Merino seems to be pretty good when it's wet, and then when it sort of gets sort of blown and dries out, it still maintains that heat. It's real clever stuff.
Yeah, definitely. We've got quite a big gap
I think
here.
we've got Das coming up now.
Right, love to see Das going through cold water, so I can't wait to see this one.
It might actually help him because he is running on an injured ankle, so it might numb the pain and the swelling a little bit.
Yeah, we believe he broke his toe, didn't we? Yeah, Costa Rica.
He did,
Yes.
but then he also had a fall on the beast at Havar last week. And
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, because he didn't actually compete in the sprint championships because he'd injured himself the day before.
God, he's always doing himself some damage, that boy.
Doesn't seem to be slowing him down much. He's looking pretty comfortable.
Well, he wants to make it. Go on, Alan.
Go on, Chris.
No, you go, Alan.
It looks like he's got a bit of lead. He's got a bit of a lead there by the looks of it.
I was just going to say that, like,
yeah, there's a bit of a gap. I can see James coming up, but that's out, and James is just coming up towards that camera.
So I think Das is really going to try and get the points in for this Masters series, because I think if he gets the win out of the Masters, he can take it. He's currently in second place, am I right? So then if he wins this, he can take that spot off from Ramunas.
Yeah, if he gets this place, I do believe. If he takes this place, then Ramunas has got to finish 3 places behind him, if I work that out right. So if he finishes 3rd, I do believe if Ramunas gets 6th, it's going to be very, very close. If Ramunas gets 7th, then I think Dassos takes the title as the Masters.
Was that James Burton coming out of up to Kenneman 11?
Yeah.
He's looking good. He's looking good now.
And
I'm just going to throw it in there.
Up.
Oh, Ramunas is coming in. He's not far behind as well. God, what a season this boy's had.
Yeah, his running's come on leaps and bounds, hasn't it?
Oh, it's shocking. It's shocking. But being an athlete and racing against these competitors, it's horrible sometimes when they get better, because it just means you've got to put that extra effort in to try and beat them. And Ramunas has done that all year. He turns up every single race, shows where he wants to be, and is running, like you say, Alan, it's improved leaps and bounds.
Yeah. I think he's just going to get better. As his age is coming, he's just going to get little bit better each year. If he keeps focusing on his running, he's going to be up there every year. He was the champion last year. He was the Masters champion last year. And I know he's not wanting to give this title up easily.
No, he never does. He never does.
He doesn't. Now, I've just been told that they've just gone through hero walls. So after Arctic Enemy, we have got Arctic Enemy came after Block Nest, sorry. Arctic Enemy, then we've got hero walls. The leaders have just gone through hero walls. And then we've got Hold Your Wood and Just the Tip. So it's starting to get, the obstacles are just starting to get a little bit more tougher now. Little bit more carries in there. They've built them up to it, which I think's been quite good so far. Yeah,
which one's Hold Your Wood, Alan? Just remind me on that one.
I'm going to turn around and say it's a log carry. It's just straight up a log carry.
That's what I thought. So we're going to have a carry obstacle.
Ones.
Yeah, a carry obstacle.
They are big ones, yeah. We're not talking little logs here. These are like 6 foot ones, quite heavy. It's all about balance. You know, the longer pieces of wood, Chris. I don't know if you find this, but I find them much easier than the short, stumpy ones because you can chuck it on your shoulder, and if you can balance it right, you know, it's very easy to carry.
Yeah, whenever I'm carrying long wood, I'm a lot better at long wood than I am short wood.
Got Becky coming now.
So
that-
Becky's still leading in the going through Arctic Enema.
Yeah, first Formula team.
And how much gap has she managed to create?
I can't see any of the other ladies at the moment.
We did have Shyla in second place last time we see her on the live feed here. So we'll see Becky come through. Is that her sliding down into that cold, horrible water? So let's see how she comes out of it. Let's see if she comes out looking cold or coming out looking strong.
Oh, I can see Liam Morrow coming.
Liam Morrow.
Fourth place? No, will that be sixth place, Liam?
4, 5, 6. I think it might be 7th. Somebody else has just run past that I didn't recognise.
Liam's had a great season. You know, it's his first proper season racing against the big boys. And, you know, he's a primal fitness guy. He's been having a really great season. Great obstacles. Still got lots to work on, but he's loving it. And I tell you what, he's putting in the effort and he's really showing that he's coming in. Look forward to seeing him next year as well.
Definitely. Wasn't he Spartan AG champion the year before? Was that Conor Wickens?
No, I do believe he was a age group champion. And he's come from age group champion coming into the elite field. So he's made that progression. He's made that step up, and he's got amps of like skills, and he just needs to hone in what he needs to do.
Definitely. The primal fitness guys are very much a really close knit team, you know, and they've done quite well, you know, in the series this year. I think they're up there if I remember rightly.
Yeah, we're used to seeing them just taking part in most Spartan races. And so I'm just trying to work out who was coming through there.
The guy in the yellow is wearing primal shorts. I'm not sure of his name.
I think it's Simon. I could be wrong.
Is that Simon Briggs?
It could very well be, yeah.
This might be Libby coming up the hill, but she is a long way away, so I could be completely wrong.
We'll be able to tell with her gait. She's got a very distinctive gait, Libby has.
Yeah,
I can't even tell if they're male or female from here. So.
God, your eyes are terrible. You should see my eyes. My eyes are awful. We've got a nice spectator there.
Yeah.
How much water and how waterlogged it really is here. It's
wow.
It's been raining all week. And here's our guys live on YouTube.
Hey guys, welcome to Something Northwest.
What an event village there, eh?
That is super
Thank
watery.
You. It's absolutely ridiculous. And of course, you know, hi. Oh, thank you. You're live on YouTube.
Hi.
So where was I? Yeah. So there's probably around 10,000 people going through today, and it's just going to get muddier and muddier and muddier. I'm running late to about 10:30, 11 o'clock, but it's so turned up.
Oh wow, that is going to be a mud fest, without a doubt. That's going to be a mud fest.
God, it is a mud fest. You can see it.
Yeah. So I think the volunteers this morning, they were briefed that there's going to be about 6,500 coming through just today, Will, which is a huge number, you know, of actual runners. That is just runners. So you're right there, Will. There could be 10,000 people going through that event village with the spectators and things like that. I feel sorry for anyone who's got small children and got them in the buggies, because they're not going to get through that today, are they?
No.
No, I mean, we got stuck at Pippington in the village, and that was nothing like this.
Did Libby go through in third, Kelly? Can you confirm that for us? I think Kelly's
can't-
just camera's just
yeah.
stuck there.
We've lost Kelly there a bit. She has frozen. She's frozen in time.
So we have got Old You Wood. After Old You Wood, Chris, we've got Just the Tip, and then we have got probably one of the first real technical ones with Hanging Tough. Now, I've got a treat for you, Chris, because I have got Gaz Oakley, who is on Hanging Tough, and he's going to film for us when they get there.
Oh, nice. That's good because that's one of the only. Well, there's two hanging obstacles really in this race, and Hanging Tough. We did speak to on Who's Hot, and they did say that they're going to change it, so it's going to have the metal bars like at Spartan. So it'd be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I you know, Hanging Tough's not an easy obstacle. We've got the rain that's with it as well, makes it a little bit difficult. You know, they're going to have wet hands. You know,
Well, that's right. It's that metal, that mud, that combination of the two. It really changes things. And don't forget, it's a flowy obstacle. It's one where you have to use momentum to get through. And when you build momentum, that's when you get that pendulum effect, which just throws you off of those kind of obstacles.
Definitely, without a doubt. So,
Jai is just in Arctic Enema and Libby's just at the top.
Also, Libby's come back. Libby's come back, and she's managed to get into a battle with Shyla.
Yeah,
Shyla.
After Arctic Enema, Shyla's just hit her head on the bar and just took a break before she went down. She's not a fan of water.
I don't think anyone's a fan of cold water like that.
I don't like water.
Will, is this breaking news? Have Tough Mudder now partnered with Dry Robe? Will's giving us breaking news.
Yeah, look
They've
at
moved
that.
away from Red and now partnered with Dry Robe.
So
they are looking actually really pretty. Honestly, I still prefer my Red Robe, but these do look pucker. So if anyone wants to do a bit of shopping, then yeah, head down to Chumley Castle.
Can you not just put one in your bag for me for later, Will? That looks pretty impressive. That just pop it in there and don't tell them.
Look at the marketing going on there. Look at the shoes. Merrill, I believe Tough Mudder used Merrill shoes. Is that right? No, is it? No, it's Craft nowadays, isn't it? Craft indeed.
Never used Craft shoes. Chris, have you?
No, I've never used Craft shoes. No, the only craft I've ever done is a craft beer.
Will's onto his. Look at Will's like spending his money into this. I'm going to get a message now asking for a pay rise. I'm sure I am.
I've been sending you them messages for weeks. You just don't respond to me.
HR, Chris, keep sending them to HR, mate. Nothing to do with me.
I'm putting in all the overtime.
You've been to Hawaii in the UKOCR jet.
Yeah, but that was private funds. I only used a little bit of British obstacle and UKOCR funds on that one.
Oh, I like that. It is much appreciated. By the way, if anyone knows, all of this is done voluntary, people. So none of our team get paid, not even me. Everything is done voluntary. But you can join Patreon, and Patreon helps pay for our hosting of this. So we don't make any money out of it, and we tend to give. And when we do make money, we give it away in prizes. As quite recently, we gave some builder away, and I think we've given my zones away and things like that. So yeah, if you want to be a patron, head over to UKOCR and become a patron. I'm not going to do no more marketing on that, Chris.
No,
leave that as it is.
That's it.
Does Accountability Corner have Patreon yet?
Not yet, but we are looking to do some sort of thing in the future, and it will be coming with some extra little goodies on top of it. So we're just working on that. Just wait for Darren to come back from his honeymoon because he has just got married, so he's off living it up in Bali at the moment. That's also why our social media has been extremely quiet.
Oh gosh, getting married, hey?
Yeah. It was a beautiful wedding. I must say, he had an absolutely beautiful wedding. Yeah, had to be there. It was really, really nice. Yeah. Okay. Many congratulations to him. Yeah.
Cool. So we're going to be Hanging Tough shortly. I would have thought they're going to be very, very close to it.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a run out. a run out before they hit that obstacle.
Yeah, they call it the Tough Mudder Field. So I've just been told they've left the Tough Mudder Field and they're into Hold Your Wood. Just gone through Hold Your Wood.
Yeah,
So
just
I am
the
getting
tip
updates
next.
of where they are. So the next one up is Hanging Tough. So hopefully we'll be there soon. So looking at these headbands, that's just reminded me, Chris. Isn't it quite soon that you've just done your first Tough Mudder?
Well, technically it was my second. I did do Europe's Toughest Mudder a few years back. I think the second one when they had it up at the Belvedere Castle. But that was the first fun Tough Mudder that I've ever taken part in. Yeah, so it was good. It was good fun.
Oh,
Got
cool,
my Tough Mudder
cool.
headband. Yeah.
Will you be heading to Worlds next year, to the World's Toughest Mudder?
No, sadly, that falls on clashing dates with the European Championships, and I've still got business to make at OCR Euros. So, which is a real shame because Tough Mudder, a World's Toughest Mudder, is a bucket list one. I've always wanted to see what I can do on a 24-hour event, but sometimes a 24-hour event takes a lot of if you want to compete in it and do well, it takes that training, takes that extra step. So, I'm still trying to chase the European dream.
And I fully get that. It's a tough decision for a lot of athletes out there. You know, WTM's never been to the UK before. I've got to admit, I'm going. You know, that is my back. You know, it's my wheelhouse. That this type of thing, the long distance ones. So I'm going to be at WTM. If I was in your shoes and maybe some of the top elite athletes in the UK, I think I'd be more tempted to go to the Euros. But it'd be a toss of a coin. It really is a toss of a coin.
I mean, the only good thing about it being in the UK is it takes away that fun factor of it being like a real big trip to go out somewhere. So, you know, if it was somewhere exotic, far away, then that bucket list element becomes a little bit more. So in the future, I think when they take it somewhere else, I'll have that opportunity to make it really, really fun.
Yeah, yeah. It would have been good if it would have been in Europe. Maybe not so much just in the UK, but in Europe, that would have been pretty cool. I would have liked that.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it and that. What is your next race? Where are you next?
I'm actually heading over to Hang On Run in November. That's my next and final OCR race of the year.
Now, my understanding, that is super technical and super tough.
Yeah, that's right. So Hang On Run's technically a survival run. So over in Europe, they do survival running, which is sort of a branch of OCR, I would say. And it involves just lots and lots of obstacles, basically trying to maintain that obstacle proficient. But I'm going over there to learn some new skills, sort of improve on some skills that I don't have, learn, go out there, do the race, have a blast, but mainly just to get some more knowledge and some things, because we're always learning in obstacle racing. You gotta keep progressing and keep going forward and doing things that you haven't done before. That's what makes a good obstacler.
Without a doubt. I think it's one of the races that I would like to do at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely another bucket list one. And it's run by the Hang On guys. And we've just seen that they're there. The two races, you got Stein Legrand, he's a Spartan champion, world champion. No, in the 3K. Those guys have really been dominating the sport this year. Yeah.
Now we've got Gaz on here, who's coming up on Hang Tough. So thanks, Gaz, for jumping on and filming this. Looks like we've got the leader coming through.
I'd say that's
Dan.
That's Dan. Yeah, 100% Dan.
Yeah. Let's see how well Dan does.
He's looking strong.
He is, isn't he? Arms still raised, looking good there.
Now, Dan this year has really improved on his obstacle game. Really, really improved. Look at him go for it. Yeah. And he's using that safer method, because you can tell just by the way that he's going through that is slippery. If it was dry, you'd see them giving him through it, swinging controlled, but that's definitely taking a little bit of security in making sure he doesn't come off.
Yeah.
Let's see how much gap he's put up on second place. See if it's Russell. Russell's in here now. Russell's got great skills. He's got good grip, but sometimes these wet obstacles can play a little trick, and he's probably going to go two tap. Yep, two tap through that, making it sure it's safe, making sure it's controlled, using them legs to drive through, and he's off. Lovely. back
Yeah,
into a little
yeah.
bit of a pause before the run. So you can tell he's working hard. That little stop that he had shows that he's putting a lot of effort in to try and keep up with Dan.
Yeah, Dan's good at this point though now, isn't he? He likes to get that 100-meter lead, and then he tends to maintain it. He doesn't tend to pull no further away, but just maintain that lead. I remember seeing him at Total Warrior a few years ago, and it was Jason. He got a lead on Jason of about 100 meters, and he just maintained that for 70% of the race.
Yeah, you could see it just then. It's all about getting that fluidity off that obstacle. So it's those little moves that you make when you just come off an obstacle and you don't pause, you just go straight into a run. And that's when that consistency of running comes into it. And that's where they just maintain that lead and that gap. It's beautiful to watch.
Oh, amazing, amazing. And we'll come back when some more runners come through there. So they're on to the obstacle I knew they weren't going to do, hero carry, because it needs 2 people, because you have to carry someone. I knew there was an obstacle, which is the next obstacle on the list for the fun runners, so they'll not be doing that one. But then they come up to the first obstacle of electricity of the day, which is electric eel. Again, this is another obstacle they can avoid. So
can they?
with the electric, yeah, so they can avoid it, get another 1.5 meters. This is in water. This is the one I ate. I can't avoid this in any way, shape, or form. Will can attest to this, that when I go through electric eel, there are screams of agony because it gets me left, right, and center. It's one of my most fearful obstacles out there. I tend to use.
You're too big. You're too big to get through it, so you're gonna get done. And I don't know whether you remember. Oh no, it's a different day, Chris. But I ran London South on the Saturday with Jen, who's a solo mudder, and at one point she got struck about 4 or 5 times, and the head kept bobbing back into the water. So much so, the water safety guys ran over just to make sure she was okay. If you're small, you can generally get through without getting shocked. But of course, the electricity runs through the water. So if someone else is shocked by the side of you, you're going to get shocked anyway.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've spoke about this on other podcasts, and getting electrocuted is not fun for anyone. And I'd love to see. I mean, during the race conditions, this is going to be really interesting to watch, because are people going to are they going to skip it? I mean, personally, I'd be questioning it myself. Would I skip it?
Yeah, it's one of them obstacles. If you've got a chance to skip it, but then again, 1.5 minutes at this level, Chris, that's the difference between a position. I don't think people are. I don't think these guys are gonna.
You can slide through 20 seconds probably. So to give up 1 minute and 10 seconds to not get electrocuted, that's you've got to be on your game if you're going to give that amount of time up.
Yeah.
That's well over 100 meters of running intake. 1 minute 10 seconds. What would
Suck
that
it
be?
up, Chris. Suck it up.
I think I would have to really suck it up. I'm starting to sweat just thinking about that. But that's where the mindset of a racer comes into it. I mean, it kind of gives you that battle cry, doesn't it? Sometimes when you really, really, really want something and you've really got to push for it, your mindset changes, and that's the beauty of racing. That's what racing gets out of people. It's the difference between having a fun run and being a competitor. It's having that mindset to change your usual outlook and just do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, without a doubt. But that's OCR for us, isn't it? The way we look at OCR, I think we all do it because it's that little bit different than doing, a marathon. I find Mark Dixon inspirational that he's actually gone from OCR to boring road running. I find that inspirational that he's gone and done that, and he's doing well.
Yeah. I'm actually out for a run with Mark Dixon tomorrow, actually. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to keep up with him. But yeah, he's got that mindset of being able to push his body into that state of uncomfortableness. So every race he does, he pushes his mind into just being uncomfortable. And I think that's where he really thrives. He showed it in obstacle racing. Every time he got into a race, he put himself in that position where he was just so involved in going hard that he was just in that psychological depth of Mark Dixon anguish or something.
He just loves pain.
Yeah,
That's what
he
we're
loves
saying. He
pain.
just loves pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's painful hanging around with him, but he loves pain.
I like that. Are you going for a long run with him tomorrow or short run? Send
Yeah.
him my love either way.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah, we're going out for a nice sort of like 20k something or other. It's been a while since we've had a bit of banter between each other, so we'll probably be taking the mick out of each other the whole time.
Mark takes the mick out of everyone all the time. I've never known him not to. So even when he's been nice, he's taking the mick out of people.
Yeah, it's definitely what I like to hang around with.
Yeah. So the first one had just gone through Hero Carry, or the section that was Hero Carry. So they're through there, going on to Electric Eel. At this point, if you're in Russell's shoes, and he looked strong, we said he looked he's looking strong, but he's probably feeling it, as you said, with that step. What's going through his mind at this point, Chris? Is he looking to consolidate second, or is he thinking he's still got a chance of chasing Russell down?
I think what he'd probably be thinking is just keep maintaining where he's at. Hopefully, Dan might make a mistake. When you're in the chase pack, you're just, because it's obstacle racing, you can never give up because people make mistakes so easy. Definitely. Just trying to see on the screen there because we might have some more people coming through. Hanging Tough, is it?
Yep, Hanging Tough. Yeah, this looks like third and fourth. So
God, that's a gap that those two have had. Yeah, if it is.
Yeah, this looks like Nuclear Phoenix shirts to me. So I'm going to say Dassos and James, but not sure which order.
Sorry, the thing is, I'm just going to go over to Mud Mile time.
That looks like James. Yep. I'm pretty sure that's James.
So James had the injury of the shoulder. So this is going to be a little test for his shoulder on this one.
Yeah, he'll be a 2-tap on that. You can see where he's really been, his shoulder injury is still it's still an issue. He's getting it back, but it's not. And there's Das coming through a little bit more, a little bit more controlled, a little bit more going through with a bit more pace. And look at the way they came back out of that run. So Das has got some good. He's got money in the beans still. He's still got going.
Yeah, he's still going. I think James has probably just come back to him a little bit. James looks a bit more fluid, I want to say. Chris, he came off that and he got into his stride much faster than what Dassos did.
Yeah, but then again, James hasn't been racing all week. I mean, he hasn't been flying around. He hasn't been on the airplane. He was at Rumble last week, hitting the 3K. Probably a little bit more preparation for this race, doing a 3K the week before than what Das had doing the Beast. The Beast is going to really impact his legs, and that's probably why he's just lost a little bit of pace on the run.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dassos didn't go to the States, did he, to the Worlds, or did he?
He went to Costa Rica. He didn't go to Mammoth, but he went to Costa Rica, which was a little bit further apart, so he would have recovered from that. But obviously, he had that toe injury on the 100 meters, and like Kelly said earlier, he had an ankle injury last week. So these are all going to be playing factors into it. But James has been to Costa Rica, did really, really well, got a podium position as well. Yeah, so James is coming back.
Cool. Will, whereabouts are you today? Whereabouts are you now?
I'll just head over to Mud Mile, and then I'll get back for the finish. I thought you guys might want to see. It's muddy, but not quite sloppy yet. It just gets worse and worse. But
that is sloppy.
This is it gets worse than this.
Right, now you can see that this sort of Mud Mile, this is good dirt. If you had an allotment, this is the dirt that you want. It's dark. It looks like it's full of nutrients. Look at that water. Oh, that's natural. That's no pumped water. That's all natural. That's all come from rain, isn't it?
And that's quite a big gap. I mentioned earlier on about being able to jump from one mountain to the next. There's no jumping there, is there? You're in that.
Yeah, and that's when you're going to really. If you did jump that, your feet are just going to be lost. And you have to use that technique to get out, where you grab that python.
Yeah. No, I didn't know you was an allotment type of guy, Chris. Did you have an allotment?
We tried it for about 4 or 5 months, and
live on YouTube.
Yeah, it didn't work too well. We did grow some things, but didn't get it. Dan evidently, and him and Claire, yeah, they're allotmenteers. So yeah, I learned a little bit from them.
Oh, nice one. We should give a little shout out to Claire actually, because she couldn't be with us today. I know she's was a bit gutted, but she's got work commitments. So Dan's had to come up on his own. Claire's elsewhere, but she was on OCR report the other week as well. Did you see that?
She's really making leaps and bounds. She's great on the live feed over there at Mammoth.
Fantastic.
And
so it
who's
looks
that?
like we've got an Infinity runner coming through.
He's looking strong. Good move on that. So you can see where he had to change his technique. So he's obviously come through that, realized it's a lot more slipperier than he thought, and he's changed his technique. That's really good thinking from an obstacler.
So what did you grow on your allotment? I'm interested in what you grew on your allotment there, Chris.
So we didn't grow very much. We had a few beans. We did really well with the beetroot. Beetroot did quite well, and that was about it. And then we managed to grow quite a few weeds. That's what we really excelled at.
I've just been told that the leaders, so Dan and Russell, have just gone through Electric Eel and Twinkle Toes. So
Nice.
they are up to Halo and Pyramid schemes soon. So before the Everest and the final.
I'll make my way back to the village then.
Yeah, so there we go.
Do we have any update on how the females are getting along?
At this moment in time, I haven't got that. But if we do, I will update you as soon as possible. So I think we're back at Hanging Tough with Gaz. Let's see where he is.
So I'm right as well. So all females and males, they started at the same time, right?
They did, yes.
So who's this coming through now? That looks like, they're taking a pause. They're taking a second thought about going through this obstacle. They must have wet, cold hands. Nice swing through there. I can't quite make out who it is with the small screen that we got here. I do apologize to everyone watching. But we'll see how they come off the obstacle and how well they come back into running. They're not an Infinity area, are they?
No, they haven't got the Infinity bib on. So unless we have got a slight detour on course by someone, they are going to be the fourth male through.
I see Dan. Jesus Christ. I see Dan. Oh my God. I'm in fucking wellies.
I was in wellies as well. Well, that's really going some at it then, Will. So Dan's technically, Dan's still in front, and you can hear how hard Will's trying to catch up. So this is towards the end of the race now. So this is going to be where they really pick it up. So if you've got anything left, now is when you're going to go. And they're coming up to Everest on their own. Can Das make it up? This could be a chance. And he's up first time? Yeah, he's up first time. That could have been it. So there's Becky going through on Hang Tough as well.
Yeah, Becky's going through first lady there on Hang Tough. Was watching Dan's technique going up there, see if he made it into. We missed Becky's technique on Hang Tough there.
Yeah, this is going to be really when it's going to get quite confusing. And there's Dan. Looking really strong. Look at that run.
Yeah.
He knows now, you can tell in his mind, he knows he secured the win. He's won the series. That's it. He's going to just walk through that. No problem. He knows he's done it. He's done the work. He's put the time in this year. I mean, yeah, what a champion. Champion of champions. It really does. Russell's going to be gutted. I mean, obviously he wanted to win at least 2 out of the 3 series. He's got the 3K. Dan has got the long course championships. He is the long course champion.
He is the long course champion. 4 wins in the season. You can't get no better than that on the point system. 1,600. I want to say it's going to be. And
there's Russell. Russell going through the electric shock therapy, no problem. Look at him just walking straight through it, not even turning to the side. He's that skinny.
Made a bit of room, made a bit of distance back up near the end there.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He obviously managed to put some time in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great series results on the first and second there. Great series. Those two are our best races in the UK at the moment, and the battle that they've been having over the year has been phenomenal to watch. It's been incredible, and hopefully because they win a bit of prize money on this, it's gonna help their season for next year, and it's only going to increase the looks that we get from outside in Europe. People are going to want to sort of race against these two.
Definitely, definitely. And we are going to have prize money in the series again next year. So everyone knows the top echelons. We've not announced it yet, but we are working on it with all the racers to get the funds in. But in this year, I mean, the first time we've had prize money, we announced it quite late in the series, but the top two athletes this year, they're going to walk away with good prizes. They've got, I do believe it was £500 we agreed on for the top male, top female, and then a free race pass for all the races next season. You can't go wrong with that in a race series, can you?
No, it's incredible, and it's so deserved. I mean, the amount of training that we all have to do as athletes, and especially the guys and girls at the top. I mean, it takes up so much of your time. Every little bit of help helps, and if you get just having your race season already sort of paid for you, it's an incredible way just to keep you racing. And if we have these people coming back, it creates more competition, it creates more battles, it creates more storylines, and it gets more eyes on the sport. And that's what we want to grow.
Definitely, definitely. And that's all we're ever doing. I did say earlier on that the maximum points you could get down was 1,600. It's actually 2,000 because we changed it up for this season. It's 500 points per win. So 2,000 points, maximum points again, 3 years in a row for Dan Titcombe. It's fast becoming the John Alban, and then that's a good comparison, I think, of UKOCR.
Yeah, nice guy as well.
Top guy.
And he's been in the sport for years. I mean, we've seen Dan grow. He came into the sport really well. He is still pretty young, but he came into the sport younger, and he always had really great running background. He was always really fast, but over the years he's come along leaps and bounds. He's got his obstacle game down to a T. I mean, he's still got to work on his carrying. His heavy carries are still probably his lowest attribute point, but the way that he's progressing is great. It's great. Fast, strong, clean through obstacles. It's what we want to see.
Without a doubt. And you see that progression when he goes to the Euros and the Worlds, and that, he's moving up them rankings. The big test for me this year, I remember being at the Spartan race when Tom Tweddle came back, and Dan took it to him,
Yeah.
For quite a while, Tom was, the top OCR athlete we got in there. But Dan took it to him and showed him, the improvements that he's made and where he is and took the win.
Yeah, same at Challenge Cup. Challenge Cup, Leon came over. He was blown away by the speed of Dan. And when you got eyes like Leon saying how quick you are at running, it throws it out to the rest of the world. People are like, hang on a minute, who's Leon? Leon Kofu's mentioning this guy, Dan Titcombe, and who is he? So people are going to look and people are like, oh, wow. And now another series win, another accolade to his points, and that's it. It's just good.
Definitely. And we've got to also think about our athletes in the UK. None of these are full-time athletes. Everyone holds down a job. Everyone holds down a day job. So the training has to come after work, before work. Maybe Dan's got a slight advantage that he is in the army, but his job isn't PT in the army. He has to stay fit to just like everyone else does.
Yeah, I believe he's an engineer in the army. So, he's fixing stuff all the time, building Lego. I think that's what they do in the army, isn't it? Build Lego. So, he does have to do other things. Yes, he does have a little bit of a athletic advantage being in the army. PT's very big in the army, doing running, baseline, and that. He runs for the army team. So he does have a slight advantage, but the same with all of us. We all put in the same amount of time at running, training, getting everything right, and it's just the little things you do to try and make them big gains.
Definitely. And that's where the gyms come in: Rumble Fitness, PT Barn, Obstacle Gym, Body Hub. We've got a lot of gyms out there, and I'm sorry if I haven't mentioned you. Anyone else out there? Let's see where we are now. Go back to some action.
Sorry, I don't know if you want to put the video on. Dash and James are literally on top of each other at twinkle toes. They're
That's the
right
best.
next to each other.
I think they love being on top of each other. So, who's this on Hang Tough?
What's
so
really
This is
interesting?
Shyla. This is Shyla coming through Hang Tough. Let's see. Now, Shyla's really good at upper body stuff. Will she just gibbon it? Oh, look at
Look
this.
at that, right? That showed. You could tell that it's obviously slippery there. She's really had to change it. But I thought she was going to come through gibboning the whole way. Then just showing how strong she is through obstacles.
Yeah, I was thought she's actually taking her time. That is slippy.
Yeah, you can tell that's slippy. And look at the way she's got back into running. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect execution there. Love it.
Straight back in.
20, 30 meters ahead of Dash going into A-hole.
Did we say James was about 30 meters there, Kelly?
Yeah, about 20, 30 meters ahead of Dash, just come up to A-hole. Really, really close.
Cool. Have you got your phone on, Kelly? Can you turn your camera on so we can see some?
Yeah, so I got kicked out of the live, so I think you need to reapprove my video.
Oh, let's have a look. This is probably down to me.
So if James has got 30 meters on
just
Dash.
as Dan and Russell came through.
Here we go.
Hopefully we can see what's going on, because that looks like a battle of the century. Especially if James has got it, it's going to really put him in good stead for next year. He's been itching to get back at racing all year. I mean, at the beginning part of the year, he was out with that injury, that shoulder injury. Here we go. So we have
James is about 10 meters in front. They're coming up to Pyramid Scheme. We're about 50 meters from Pyramid Scheme. I'm going to skip this one and run across to Everest. This looks like a hell of a finish though for third place. Really, this is podium.
Yeah. Now, there's nothing in here that's going to really affect James's shoulder, so it's just going to be able to. He's going to be just wanting to maintain that gap between Das, because Das can run, that boy. He's a 2:20 something marathon runner. He's got legs in him.
Can you see? Okay, yeah.
Oh,
Here we go. Here we go. God, that is close. So
they got the ropes. Das has had to just move across a little bit.
Look at him come down. Now we're going to watch to see who really wants this coming down. So coming down the back end of this could be really slippery. Neck and neck.
Stride for stride.
Look at that. So now I believe that's James in front. Am I right? He's pulling away.
Yeah, it came off slightly early. I don't think he hasn't stretched that gap any more than what he did when he first dropped off, though, I think, Chris. It was still about the same.
It seems quite consistent on how that gap was. Usually when you see an obstacle coming, you bunch up, but then as soon as you leave that obstacle, that gap that you've had, that's when you can see the difference. And if it looks about the same, you've gone over the obstacle relatively the same way, and then the gap's got the same on the run afterwards. That was a bit of a mouth twister.
I like that mouth twister. I think the weather's playing a little bit of havoc with our connections down there, as Will's camera's frozen and Kelly's didn't quite work right. So we don't know what's happening down there.
Yeah, it's very difficult. So they're going up Everest now? Oh, now, is that a struggle? I'd love to. Will, can you tell us who's on Everest? Oh, it's going to be a mystery. Oh,
the suspense.
It is suspense. It's like watching Deal or No Deal.
No, I'm back in. James is in front.
And this is coming up to the final obstacle now, isn't it? Are we coming up to electroshock? Look at James, he's running. Look at that. He's not even stopping. He's going straight through. He knows he's got it. He
Yeah.
wants this. Him and Das have had battles throughout the years, and those two love racing against each other. And I think James is going to love just sticking it to Das on that one. Yeah, they're going to have a good beer afterwards, having a laugh.
They're going to have a bit of a chat there.
They've been rivals for years and years, and now it's another one, another notch for James.
I think James has actually just tried to make a statement there to tell Dassos that next year he's not going to have it all his own way in the Masters section.
Yeah, James is saying he's back. He's back, and you better watch out.
He's laying down the gauntlet. So it's now all about on where Ramunas comes. So we've got to, if Ramunas comes in next, then Ramunas will take the title in the Masters, in the male Masters.
So
However,
I can see Ramunas just in pyramid scheme.
do we have a gap? Anyone in between them, Will? Can you see anyone in between them?
No, so it would be Das fourth, and Ramunas is just going up to Everest, so he'll be sixth. And then there's the Infinity one. I don't know who that is behind him. So no gaps. Ramsey's got quite a bit of rest now. Even if he drops one place, plenty.
Perfect. He's done the maths at home. He knows where he's got to go.
And we talked quite early on about.
Just had one.
We talked about quite early on
just
there.
had one attempt. He's failed to get it across again. Sorry.
So Ramsey's had a failure on the. Let's see if we can see him going up the second time.
So when we did Tough Mudder with Will, and Ramsey came along with us as well, Ramsey did struggle a little bit on Everest then. So this could be the chink in his armor on this particular course.
Is this because he's not quite tall enough to get his arm over the top? Because in stature, I mean, he's a good, strong, muscular guy, but he's not tall, is he?
Yeah, he's not. He's not very tall at all, really. It's him going up now, so he's made it. Took him a few goes, but those sort of obstacles take a little bit of technique, and because that reach is quite far behind, it's so easy to mess up. I think we've all got the strength to do it, but it's getting that technique right and just getting up there and managing to grab that back end. And he's off now.
So it looks like there's an Infinity Runner there.
Yeah, I was going to say that Infinity Runner's giving him a bit of a chase.
Yeah.
Oh, look at him go! He's putting in that last bit of effort.
Oh, this is
yeah. He's going straight through. I love the way he used his hat to stop him getting electrocuted in the face.
So this is like Emma coming through hanging tough. Is this Emma coming through hanging tough?
It could very well be, and that should secure her for a decent place in the Masters.
We've got Becky in first.
And do we know that the gap that Becky's managed to keep?
I can't see anybody else at the moment.
She must have really stretched out against Shyla.
She's run really well to be catching up to Ramunas there. Is this Becky coming through here? No.
No, I'm not sure who this is.
So we're looking for the fourth place male and... Sorry, not the fourth place male. What place, Alan?
Yeah, we'll be on the sixth place male, I believe. Yeah.
There's another woman just come past in second, who I don't recognise. She's not wearing an Infinity bib.
That's interesting.
Right, hopefully we can get some eyes on that. That could be a real shake-up. Could it
Did
be
she
a
have
local
team shirt on, Kelly? Did she have a team shirt on?
She didn't have a team shirt. She had a black shirt.
The signal's really playing havoc down there at Cholmondeley Castle. Yeah.
I think it's the weather down there, Chris. It's not great, and I don't know about where you are, but where I'm up here in Yorkshire, it's getting even worse. I'm planning a little trip up Winhill this afternoon, a little run up Winhill, and you know, maybe having second thoughts as the wind's picking up.
You should never be thinking that, Alan. You should never be thinking that. Get those thoughts out your head. Get out.
Yeah, get out and do it. That's what you got to do, isn't it? Sometimes you got to get out there and do it.
I think
So-
I see you down towards pyramid scheme.
What was that, Will? So we've lost eyes on the race.
Yep, it looks like the screen's not working. Let's put my. Oh, there we go. So we're
So
back
this
at
is
pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Have you got me?
Yep.
We have, yes, Will.
So we got Becky here at pyramid scheme.
Great. So that's a huge lead she's managed to get. Now, Will, do you know who this mystery opponent could be in second place? Do you know if there's a gap?
With snouts on the line.
I don't see second place yet, but I will tell you. Or
So Becky's going to be wanting to come down this. Now, she probably knows the gap that she's got. So I'm assuming that she's not going to be giving it everything she's got because she probably doesn't need to. There's no point.
No, I would have
Yes.
thought she'd have looked back when she
Yeah,
got to the top
second
there.
come down a-hole.
second is just come down a hole.
The names of Tough Mudder never
Run
stop
down the
making me
hole
laugh.
towards pyramid scheme.
Yeah, so Becky will have had a quick look back there, Chris, wouldn't she? And checked how big the gap was to second place. She knows she's got it comfortably.
Jamie!
course.
Jamie!
Oops. Will's jumping in there.
I think he's trying to get hold of Jamie. Yeah, Becky. Now that she knows that she's got the lead, she's probably going to conserve a little bit of energy just so she can get up Everest without a problem, and then just maintain that to the finish, and then take it super easy through electric shock therapy.
We've got Shyla coming up in third. She's just coming up to a-hole.
So who's in second?
That's interesting.
Whoever
We've
they
got
are,
some-
they've come through quite quick.
I think the weather's proper playing up with us, and we do apologise for this. We can't be
Yeah.
in control of this to our watchers. But this is Becky coming into electroshock therapy.
Doing justice there. Look at her running. Great.
Yeah.
So just with the standings, I'm just trying to look to see where Becky might end up being in the overall standings with the women.
So she was in fifth place, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Going into here, we have got no Tamar, and we've got
So-
no.
I believe Becky, she can't get third place. She doesn't have enough points in the overall standings, but I think with this result, she can get fourth place now in the overall standings. So that's really jumped her up. But it is a win.
So I wonder
Without
if
a doubt.
I've seen some fun running coming through.
Right. So that might. So
In
does
which
that
case
take
that puts Shy in
Shyla back to
second.
second? Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
quite a gap. I can't see Libby at all yet.
I think
That's
this is going
definitely a
to-
5K runner.
So we've got a couple of 5K runners in the mix there, which is quite interesting. So I've just had a quick look at the standings here, Chris, and it looks like that Becky is going to get over, I want to say, an extra 100 points on her total. So she can lose a fourth place finish, which she got 400 points for, and replace it with a first place finish. That's going to give her an extra 100 points. So that is going to move her on to 1745, which is definitely going to move her up into fourth place.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Shyla, if she gets second or above, sorry, third or higher, that ties her points with Karen. So then it will come down to who's beaten who, I believe. I think that's how they do a tiebreaker. So who's had more head-to-head wins out of the two?
That's right, yeah. So it's who's had more head-to-head wins first, and then after that it goes to a flip of a coin, so
Yeah.
which we don't want to see.
But I think off
Um,
the top of my head, I think Karen's had more wins out of her head to head. Karen's had a absolutely stonking season. She's podiumed at a few races and she's had really top performances.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually gonna go and check the rule book just to be 100% certain, because we don't want to say nothing on here.
That's
that
Shyla
is-
going up Everest. Yeah, I'm only taking the information I've got from our Fergal Kenny, who sent us some information. But even him, who controls the stuff, might have some mistakes. So until the standings come out live, just take what we say with a pinch of salt.
So it goes on the points earned in Nuclear Challenge Cup on the head-to-head basis first. Okay.
Right.
So let's see what happened in Challenge Cup, because if that's the key. So we had Shyla in second and Karen in third.
Yeah. That's right. So it might be Shyla.
Yeah. So we always pick one race that makes it the first time.
Look at this. Look at this. Like, Shyla's just using these guys to get him a bit, give her a bit of a boost. Look at that running. So this is only Shyla's first proper year racing in the series. Look how well she's done. She's come from a ninja background, and now she's taken part in these longer races, doing what she wants to do. She always said she was only going to take part in shorter races, but this is what we want to see from the ninjas coming in. That they take part in some of the shorter races and realize that they've got the proficiency over the obstacles to do well, and then start training in the running, and just shows that how much of an impact that can have. It's completely changed the field. A new player in the game. Definitely a new player in the game.
At the beginning of the year, we actually talked about who the athlete to watch, and Shyla was out and out by far, got the most votes. Who to watch?
Yeah, we did it. We did it on the Christmas special, didn't we, Alan? On the Christmas special, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, she was there. She was the one to watch. I won't say I picked her on that as well. So yeah, good choice by me. And I know nothing about OCR.
At least you got her name right, Alan.
Yeah, Ramona's got me confused for years. Big thanks to Wendy Brothers taking me to one side and giving me elocution lessons on that one.
Yeah, I think I probably need a few elocution lessons myself.
Electrocution lessons is what we need.
Trouble is, I come from a background of scaffolders, and the only conversations we ever have is grunting and swear words. So yeah, it's very difficult to learn how to speak correctly.
I like that. So the question is, though, is we're going to get in third place? Will we, because we've had a few fun runners coming through, will we end up seeing that Libby has kept it?
It's got to be Libby.
Got to have Emma come through.
Yeah.
Because if Emma's come through, we know for a fact that that's going to push her up the Masters female, and you know, it could even push her quite high up to us. I won't say a second place finish.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I think if Emma just finishes, especially in the Masters, if Emma finishes sixth or higher, she's gonna get second place in the Masters.
Yeah, which is phenomenal. You know, I don't know. Excuse me. Excuse me about that. There's folks, which is amazing, isn't it? Because you know, I mean, none of us really picked Emma last year when we talked about it at the Christmas festival. You know, to be up there on the podium in terms of overall. I think we mentioned Ruth, we mentioned Tamar, we mentioned Laura, and we mentioned Louise. I think that was mentioned quite a lot. But Emma's shown her grit this year. You know, running for Team Nuts and done quite well.
Yeah. And the Masters competitions are really, really strong field. Most of the top athletes overall are Masters. So to just showcase their skills in their own sort of way, it's really great having that Masters competition. I'm pretty sure that James and Das probably had a conversation to do it so they can win something. But yeah, no, it's really good to have.
And a bit of a change up for next year. I don't know if you know about this, Chris, but next year we're still going to have the main two standings, as you know, the senior field and the Masters field. but we're actually going to break the results down to age categories.
Oh,
So people can actually see who they actually compete against in each age category. And at the awards in 2026, we will be recognising the winners of each age category as well.
oh, that's awesome. That really adds another little playing field and gives more people something to chase after. I know it's really difficult sometimes to enter into competitions thinking that, you know, it's really difficult to score something that's really good and you have something at the end of the year to look at. But having an age group one, it's great because it shows that your competition throughout the year is worthwhile against the other people that you're racing against.
Yeah.
So I
and
can
that's
see a
what we thought.
team coming through.
Who's coming through?
A team. I don't know Emma, but I'm guessing it's her.
Yeah, I would
I
say that's
haven't
Emma.
seen Libby yet.
Oh, so do you reckon Emma's taken Libby? Did we not see
I
Libby?
think Emma's in third.
I thought I briefly saw Libby on Everest, but was that mistaken?
I haven't seen Libby yet.
Oh, I don't know.
Libby's not on Everest.
I've not
Yeah.
seen from
No.
Pose or the A-hole yet. Yeah, the team notes on the A-frame.
And we didn't see Libby going through Hanging Tough either, did we?
No, we did.
Did we see
I
Libby?
think I can just see Libby in the distance coming up to Twinkle Toes.
Twinkle Toes obstacle 18, so she's only got 4 more obstacles to contend with just at the end of this race.
So she's probably 40 seconds behind Emma.
40
so it's like,
seconds.
yeah. Maybe the jet lag's caught up with her a little bit. Chris, we did mention this earlier.
Yeah.
Because Libby's a phenomenal runner. This is right in our wheelhouse, this distance and obstacle proficiencies and that. So well done to Emma, though. Don't take nothing away from Emma. You know, she's having a great race, coming up here in 3rd place.
Yeah, I'd love to know what was going through their heads at this whole race, just to see, because we'll see what that darker thought in the head might have. Oh, let's just watch Emma going up. Is it going to be Everest?
Are you watching me, Alan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're watching you, Will.
And this is pyramid scheme, isn't it?
Yep, this is pyramid scheme. So this is the 3rd to last
Obstacle 20, yeah. So this is pretty much it secured in the bag. What a race. What a great performance overall on this one.
Really good racing. Now, I'll just put a little caveat on these. These results that we're giving away here, these are only preliminary results because we don't know if anyone's had to give a band up. So just bear in mind, these might change to everyone who's watching us.
This is a great result from Emma. Great result. Taking her time, just trying to stay composed. So she's done pyramid scheme. This is Everest. So this could be the time for anyone to get back into a race position. This is a very difficult obstacle, especially at the end of the race when you're tired. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kelly, was Libby's on pyramid scheme, did we hear?
Will, are you able to give us an update on this one because you've got the better screen?
Yeah, so I'm in 3rd place on Everest. She's trying to get a few people to help her.
So is there the option to take a skip on this obstacle?
Yes. It's 1 minute 30. She's all right. She's got it.
She got it. Perfect. Amazing.
Leg,
Amazing.
leg.
So this is the first rule book we've had as well, Chris, where you can actually get help from fellow athletes on obstacles. So it's the first one we've ever had, and that's because a lot of these obstacles do need more than one person to do them. Hence, Everest, it has been allowed for someone to help.
I'm going to stick with Libby. Emma's just about to go through EST.
But Libby's just coming up to Everest now. So I'm going to stick with Libby.
Yeah, that's an amazing result from Emma. Incredible. She's going to really love taking Libby's scalp on that one. Let's see Libby now. Can she get up first time? Yeah, she's up.
That was good. Yeah, yeah.
So, to be fair, no, Emma, I was going to say that would have been a great finish. There's a little bit more time, and there would have been a battle going on at the final ends of that race.
Yeah. Just to confirm as well, there
What you guys? What you want?
They had to complete Everest. Everest was not an optional obstacle; it was a must-complete obstacle. That so hence they were allowed to get help. If anyone's watching, you know, we don't want no one jumping on and telling us things. It's in the rule book. It was out there. They can get help because it's a must-complete obstacle.
Yeah, great stuff. But Libby's done quite a few tough muddies in the past, I believe. So straight up.
Yeah.
And she'll be getting her headband. Another one.
Another one.
But will she take a medal? That is the question.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? But she just says she likes the medals, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does like the medals.
Yeah.
Even Finley took a medal, so he's contradicted himself a few times. There she goes. She's finished. Great result. So that's the top four.
Amazing.
Top four women. So we got Becky Neal, Shiloh Dehaney,
Emma
McCree, and Libby Joyce.
And Libby Joyce. Absolutely well done.
Yeah, fantastic. And look at them all having a little bit of a chin wag now.
That's great. A great running from Becky. Good to see Becky back at the front, you know, right out there and running really well. I've got to admit, she's running the best I've seen her in a short while.
And that's Libby wearing a swim run suit, actually. So that's interesting. That's neoprene. So she must have been expecting it to be cold. The only one, I wonder if that's probably paid a little bit against her. When those swim run suits get heavy, it's an extra bit of weight that you got to carry running. So maybe that's what's just slowed her down a bit.
I found that when I did Europe's Toughest Mudder this year, that I actually never went with my full neoprene swim run suit. I actually instead went with shorts when it got really cold, about 2 a.m, and then just put a rash vest on around about 4 o'clock. So I think on my 5th lap I put the shorts, and on my 6th lap I put the rash vest on, and then just ran with it because I thought it was too warm. I don't know about you, but it can sometimes feel cold, but when you start running, you warm up quite quickly.
Yeah, that's right. And there's another element of it just being hard to move. Sometimes you just need that bit of movement to be able to control yourself. But yeah, I mean, these guys and girls are going to be running so fast that it's going to be difficult to get cold. But then it's that thing you got to think about at the beginning of a race, isn't it? You got to try and weigh up the pros and cons to know whether you're going to have to. If you're going to get cold, is that going to affect you? Am I going to overheat? Is that going to affect me? So it's just the cards you're dealt with and the way that you got to play them.
Definitely. I know Will gets that cold that when he goes to his local swimming pool, he actually wears his swim run suit. He suffers that much from the cold.
Probably wears it in the bath.
Yeah, he probably does wear it in the bath. Will, if you're there, can you get any interviews with us with the leaders, Becky or Shyla or even Emma?
Yeah, Emma would be a good one. Yeah.
He'll just be asking them now, so Libby turn around and.
Will, you're muted, so. So if anyone can lip read.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Too much music going on. I don't know what you can hear, but there's loads of. I don't know whether you can hear, but there's loads of background music.
Can't hear the background music.
No, we can hear you quite well, Will. Maybe you can't hear us. They can't hear each other.
We can only guess what they're going through, what they're talking about, what they're saying to each other. Becky looks like she's off to get some food.
I think my thought when I finish a race like this, if I'm feeling cold, I need to go and get my my dry robe, red robe on, whatever we've got, and you know, try and get warm, because I cool down very quickly.
Yeah, the smart things to do in any winter race is as soon as you're wet, you're finished. You got to get out of them wet clothes. You got to think of yourself. You got to get dried up, get changed, get yourself warm, because now's the time when you're going to really start feeling the cold, and that's when it's going to really hit you. So you got to be smart. You can't always hang around. You need to get changed.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to see these athletes though out there taking a tough mudder. Would you have thought? Here's one for you, Chris. Would you have thought a few years ago that we would have had a Tough Mudder race in a series? You know, this is the first one we've had. You know, it feels good to have one in.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really shows the support that we have from the key figures in OCR in the UK. The fact that Tough Mudder Spartan are always willing to help out the UK OCR League just shows that how well the community comes together, and how well sort of these big race brands are committed to helping the sport. Because, you know, without them, they are the key players in OCR Britain, and having them help and have races in the series just showcases that they want to help the sport grow, and it helps all sides. It helps the fun runners, it helps the elite athletes, it helps the everyday weekend warriors. It's just all good, and it's amazing to have a good race in the series.
It is, and for anyone out there that, you know, they don't get nothing different to any other race. There is no leeways or anything like that. You know, every race that's in the series commits to the same level of enthusiasm and the rules that we put in place to make it a worthy race. So the only exception would be that we sometimes went to beach ballistic, where it didn't have chip timing, but they had a different type of timing. Let's hear from Russell.
I don't know whether you can hear me. Hold on one sec. Got it? Can't hear nothing.
Hi, Russ. How are you?
Oh, hello. Yeah, good. Yeah. How are you?
Good.
And you're warm.
Right, Russell.
You all right? Can you
How are
hear
you
it?
feeling? How are you feeling, Russ? Second place, probably not the position you wanted. You wanted to
Yeah.
be one higher. But how did the race go for you?
Yeah, it went all right. It was tough running out there, very slippery. But just had tired legs from that 32 mile. I still haven't recovered. So I try to hang on the back of Dan, but just couldn't quite keep a hold of it like so. Yeah, but no, still happy enough. Good.
So we know you were chasing 3 sort of series wins overall. Is it a bit disappointing not to have a second one? I know you lost out on the endurance series. Are you a bit gutted to not have this series as well as the 3K?
No, I think I kind of had myself settled in for second. Just Dan's running's pretty good at the moment, so just been struggling to hang on the back of him. But definitely got a big target on the back of his head for next year. I'll be putting in the training over the winter and see what we can do next year. Like,
Yeah, I think your garage is going to get a definite workout in it.
yeah, I'm gonna smash that tarmac. And ferocious 1s and 2s will be coming out, so that'll be good. Looking forward to it next year.
As you was following there, Russell, for quite a while, you know, you was very, very close to him. Did you see some chinks in his armour that you can particularly take advantage of for next year?
No, he's very quick coming out of obstacles and getting really back up in that pace, which I was just hanging on the back of him doing that. But apart from that, no, he's pretty fluent, especially on the course it is. It's nothing too technical and nothing really slow you down, so everything flows quite well. But yeah, there was a couple of bits he got away on. There was like sewer rat. I came out of one of them. He came out the other side, but he had a rope on his side. So as I swam out, he just used the rope and crawled out very quickly. So he kind of got a gap on there and then pulled away. But no, it was a good race.
And what about the water? We saw when you first both jumped into the first big pond, it took Dan's breath away, where you seemed to jump in and swam away. Did you think were going to get away there?
No, I think Dan just got a bit of a shock because he found as we walked quite in, it seemed to get like gradual deeper, but his route he just dropped in and that kind of took his breath away. But yeah, he caught us up pretty quickly after that and carried on battling. But And I think that was probably the coldest bit. Arctic Enema wasn't as cold as that pond. Like that was pretty brutal in there. So
Perfect. What's next for you, Russ? Where are you next?
I've got a 28 miler in the hills 2 weeks time, followed by a 14 miler. So that's just a local race in 1 weekend, and then that's me for my winter. Well, I'll have a couple of weeks off training, and then just into winter training for next year for Tartan Warrior and Marks. Like so, all of that 3K British champs, and then that'll be the first race of the series, the 8K. Sorry.
Are you going to try and focus a little bit more solely on one series next year? Or are you going to try and secure that 3 series wins that you've been trying to get this year?
Yeah, well, definitely focusing on the 3K and the normal series. I want to see what the endurance series races are first. The Farmyard Jams, and that's a big 48 miler, 40 hours. So not that interested in something that big. So yeah, I wouldn't like to have done it this year, but I'll have a look at it and see if I can do it next year. But it's a lot of racing and a lot of time away from home. So yeah, things might be a bit more trickier next year, especially with the European champs and the world champs in Sweden, which I'll be keen to do as well. So it's just yeah, don't know how much more Claire can take with me being away every weekend. So it's family life and things like that. So
is there anyone in particular you want to thank over this year? You know, maybe some people who've been keeping you accountable.
I like that, Chris.
Yeah, big shout out. Well, yeah, shout out to Claire, anyways, and everyone at home supporters, and yeah, Accountability Corner #1 podcast. Wow, wrap it up, man, wrap it up.
Well done, boy.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cheers, Russell. You take care.
Cheers, Russ.
Oh, I think you led him right
Cheers,
into
mate.
that there, Chris.
Yeah, well, he's got to earn it. He's got to earn his money somehow.
Is he now a sponsored athlete then, Chris? Are you officially sponsoring Mr. Walsh now to travel the world and race?
Well, it comes out of my pocket at the moment, so he's not that sponsored.
So it could have the words Chris Shipley on his back next year. Is that what we're saying?
I think he's already got it tattooed somewhere.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Will, have we got anyone else lined up that you can see?
I have to say, the sun's come out there now.
Beautiful. Not where I am, but it's over there. It looks absolutely beautiful, doesn't it? The blue skies.
There's Emma.
Is he going to catch it? She's laden with food.
He might just be taking her to somewhere that's a little bit more quiet for a little interview.
Here we go.
Look at the amount of people at Tough Mudder. They really do get it. Oh, it's Ramunas.
Ramunas.
Will's muted.
Yeah, right.
Yep, can you hear us, Ramunas?
Hello.
How's it going, Ramunas? How was the race?
Hello.
Can you hear us? Are you all right there? We can hear you.
Technical issues here.
Battery low. Battery low.
Oh,
Battery low.
Battery low. Oh. Can you hear us all right? No. It's going to go.
We might lose that. So we'll probably try and get some interviews on Who's Hot when we get the recap show. So if anyone does want to hear more from the athletes, I'm sure we all do, then we'll probably try and get some feedback on the Who's Hot recap show.
Definitely. And I think as we're losing control of everything there, Chris, I think we should say goodbye to all our watchers and say thank you for them joining us.
Yeah, thanks to everyone watching. It really does help the show, and I'm glad everyone's trying to keep up on the series.
Definitely. Thank you to all our video camera people out there, Kelly Spalding, Will Chung, Gaz Oakley, and the ones who've done it in the past for us as well. You know, all you guys have absolutely been brilliant. Everyone's supporting us. How can people find you, Chris, on Instagram, and I know Accountability Corner podcast and Who's Up podcast. But how can I find you on Instagram?
So on Instagram, I do believe my handle is Obstacle Race Dude. That's where you can find me on Instagram. I've got plenty of pictures of cats, plenty of OCR on there, and yeah, and obviously on Accountability Corner _ Accountability Corner.
Are you guys still there? Can you hear me?
Oh,
I can hear you now,
Will's
Will.
back. Nope, it was asking if we're back and we're not. We will try and catch up with Will and everyone, and we will try and get some live interviews if we
Can you
can,
guys
and pop them on social medias.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh,
I
no, you're
can't hear
back.
you at all.
Yes.
Okay, so these headphones have gone bust. Give me a second. I'll switch over to other headphones and then see if I can get 1 or 2 more interviews. But give me a moment and
So
give me a moment and I'll try and sort
Give
something
him
out.
a moment. We will give him a moment, and we will see if he can get some other interviews. If not, we will have to go over to one of our Instagram or Facebook feeds later and pop them up as videos. But let's see if we can get some first. Are you good with that, Chris?
yeah, I'm good for that. So Will's a proper legionnaire, isn't he, Alan? He's done more Tough Mudders than anybody. So
He's done over 100. But you know, it's not just when it becomes part of Legionnaires, it's not just about how many you do, it's about how you promote them. And if anyone hasn't ever watched Will's videos on YouTube, pop over, because his videos absolutely amazing quality. He gets the essence of Tough Mudder to me in his videos, you know, and he doesn't just go for people he knows in the videos. He will film anyone and everyone that's out there. So, and he organizes a lot of runs as well, Chris. So as he organized the podcast run not long since,
yeah,
but he'll go out 2 or 3 times and he'll run with newbies and show them around. Real top quality guy.
yeah, I didn't realize when I went round Tough Mudder with him, I didn't realize how much of a Tough Mudder celebrity he is. I was like, bloody, who is this guy? I mean, everyone's getting hugs with him. Everyone wants to jump in his videos. I'm thinking, I didn't realize I was out there with a celebrity.
Not just celebrity, you're with royalty.
Oh, royalty.
Okay, so I've got other headphones in. I can't find anyone. I saw Ramsey. I try and spot Ramsey again. So whilst I'm trying to find people, 3rd place was Emma McCree. 4th place was Libby. Emma's got a short distance, so Emma somehow has gone the wrong way. So they're trying to sort it out. So provisionally, the way that it's come through was Becky, Shy, Emma, then Libby. But we think that's going to be switched over. It'll be Libby, then Emma, because there's she's somewhere taking a wrong turn.
Such a shame.
Yeah.
It is very difficult whenever you get really bad weather on course. It does sometimes affect how the route planning has been there, and sometimes things can get missed, and you can go the wrong way. It's so easy
when your head's down and you're running fast, you know. And Tough Mudder don't mark 100% of their course, you know, as you know this, Chris, and anyone who's done a Tough Mudder, you're not constantly running between 2 bands of tape. They make the corners and they set you off for about 20 meters, and then you go in a straight line till you hit the next section, and there will just be an arrow or something like that pointing. So it is quite easy sometimes just to miss a corner and go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we've all done it. You're another wavy person.
No, I've oh no, that's going to kill me now, because I'm not going to be able to give you his name, and I do know him, so I do apologise.
Matt Briscoe.
Matt Briscoe, there we go. I didn't want to get it wrong. Matt Briscoe goes to a lot of WTMs, and I've had him on the podcast to chat to as well. Great guy, really good guy. So Will's heading behind the scenes here.
So one thing that I do remember when we... Oh, go on, Will.
No, I was just saying, this is the Infinity drop. I was just wondering whether anyone had come here to get changed. It's easier to get changed here because, again, you see how muddy everything is. Probably better to get changed here than try and find the rinse station. Oh, okay. So I can see Libby. So I'm just going to go over, see if we can get her for an interview. So keep filling. A couple more minutes.
What amazing how many people there is at a Tough Mudder. I didn't realize when I went last week or a couple of weeks back, sorry, that I didn't realize how many people turn up for a Tough Mudder. It's an untapped market, and within getting this competitive race to happen here, a lot of these people might see this and take part in a competitive race in the future.
Without a doubt. And
Okay,
that's just what
so
I'm looking at.
we've got Libby, Dan, Das, Joe. Who do you want to speak to? Who do you want to speak to?
You give us someone. We will speak to all of them.
All right. Okay.
Oh. All right. Ooh, these are fancy headphones. I got water in my ear.
Hi, Libby.
Hi,
Hiya.
Libby.
You all right?
We're very, very good. What's the thoughts today? You know, you're 2 weeks away and you've come back to the UK you haven't brought that weather with you. You've left it abroad. You know, you've brought mud. What's your thoughts today? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was really good. Really cold, but really, really good.
We was just saying you're wearing a bit of a run swimsuit. Was that a hindrance or an
Yes.
advantage today?
Yeah, it did help a lot, especially because of like the Arctic enema. And I think in my head, I was like, it's going to be really cold because I've been in a hot place. So
Good tactics on that one.
Very good tactics, yeah. So we're not sure on whether you've got third or fourth at this moment in time. I don't think it's been fully announced yet. Do you believe you've got
No.
third?
I think so, mainly because I think Emma, I think it was, went a bit wrong on course. So she got a little bit less distance.
Okay.
So
Did you see it overtake you? Because we saw you in third place quite early on. Okay. So that's usually an indication for us.
No, I didn't see her overtake me. So that's why we think that I was coming third.
Fantastic. And how are you feeling after 2 heavy weeks away and then coming back here? How was the legs?
To be fair, they felt really good. I think my running, I felt a little bit slower than I normally do, but I think my running was good.
Are you a bit gutted that Becky took it to you on this race rather than last week when you managed to stick it to her?
A little bit. I was hoping I could keep up with her a bit, but it is what it is. So.
No, it's nice to get that. And how was your medal this weekend? Do you enjoy the medal?
Yeah, I do enjoy the medal.
Give us a picture of it just so we can make Finley a bit jealous. There we go. We like that.
Yeah.
When are we going to get a podcast back from you with you and Finley on again? Have you got plans to record soon? Because a lot's happened.
I'm hoping it's soon. I think I spoke to Finn, so I'm hoping it's going to be soon. Hopefully, I'm going to speak to Finn and get one in because it's Finn's turn Tuesday. This time.
Are we gonna get a guest on this next one?
I think so. So it depends. It's whoever Finn chooses this year. Well, this month, as I'm supposed to say.
Look forward to hearing it. Look forward to hearing it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Fantastic. Well, good luck, Libby. Where are you next?
I don't know. I think that might be I think that's it for me now.
Oh, speak to your PA.
Yeah.
I think Libby's the only racer with a PA, isn't that right, Chris?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't know where she's going from 1 week to the next. Well, good luck, Libby, wherever you are and that.
Thank you.
Good luck as well. Can't wait to see you next year.
Yeah.
Cool. Who's Will going to get us next? Will we get Dan for us? We can. Do you think?
Yeah, the series champion.
Oh, we go, yeah.
Pretty done properly. Right.
Hi, Dan. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Series winner.
That's right. There we go. Yeah. Final. Let's see. All the points scored where I can.
Maximum points again. 3 years in a row, Dan.
So,
please.
Yeah, good. Yeah. 3 years ago. Yeah, it was a bit. It was a tough ask today. Like they got us going through loads and loads of open boggy fields, and it just was really, really draining on the legs. But yeah, it's really good just to finally, again, get the maximum points to the series, which was my aim for today. So there we go, 3 times winner.
Anything out there that you kind of struggled on or anything?
Well, I had a failure. I failed on the just the tip obstacle because it was just so wet, just from obviously where I'd been up over the previous night, just covered in water. Ran up to it, literally went to do transitions and just came straight off. I was like, no, that's fine. But luckily, as I was running off, I had a quick look and Russell came off it as well. So there was a bit of relief on my part that he had also failed it.
What was that on those the knobbly bits?
The doorknob bits.
Yeah.
It's quite a difficult obstacle that in the rain, isn't it? Because the doorknobs are quite small anyway, but when it's wet and your hands have been wet as well, because you've been through hero walls, hold the wood, your hands are wet, you're coming up to that, there's not a lot of grip left.
No, it's not so much the grip side. It was literally just because it was so wet, and we'd literally just been through. I don't know what we had just been through, but we've been through like a boggy part, and there was a few sort of puddles we were running through as well. So you naturally got quite wet anyway. So as soon as you came up to the obstacle, your hands are wet, and you're like, well, I just put both my hands on the doorknobs, went to transition over, and then was like, no, that's it, gone.
Oh,
yeah.
Well,
but aside from that,
race.
No, didn't affect the overall race, I don't think. But yeah, it's the first time I've actually raced Tough Mudder competitively, and I'll tell you what, getting the shocks on the electric eel, they're surprising. Yeah, that was.
You need to ask Will on that, because Will said you wouldn't get none. He said you were too slight to get any. You would have just been able to slide straight underneath them.
Well, that was my intention, and it wasn't until I got towards the end of it, and as I went to try and get out, one of them brushed my shoulder, and just full shock across my top half, and I almost had to grip my teeth a little bit just so I wouldn't yell any profanities out on the course.
Nasty obstacle.
Yeah. But no, it's all good fun.
Russell says you've got a big target on your back now. So do you think it's going to be exciting going into next year trying to battle with him? It's been a good season between you two. So
yeah, I think it will be. Obviously, it depends what races come up for the series. Like my aim next year is to try and do a lot more overseas races. So look at strong biking, tough biking, do probably some of the Spartan races out in Spain. So I'm going to try and aim to do those, depending when I'm back in the UK, as to how many of the UKOCR series races I can do. That's my plan for next year anyway.
And that's a great plan. You are one of the best in the world, Dan. You're up there. You're one of the best in the world. It'd be great to see you podium at the big races. Getting on there, showing the world what our best UK athlete can do at this moment in time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the target for next year.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
hopefully you won't have to run in altitude. You can really show them what you're made of.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I tell you what, running up in 2,500 meters above sea level in Mammoth was just like, the race is brilliant. Like, it's absolutely fine, and I had no issues with any of the obstacles. It was just the altitude.
Yeah,
but you've got guys that have been acclimatizing for 3-4 weeks, and you go up and you're just like, yeah, I've been here for 3 days, and I'm going to try and run at the same pace as what you guys do, and it doesn't work.
It's the only worry I had when I was watching the live feed of that race, is how well we're going to perform in the altitude. So yeah, shame, but next year, mate, it's really good.
Yeah, exactly.
Well-deserved win as well. Well-deserved win. Definitely been putting the training in. You've really shown that you've sort of come a long way as an obstacler.
Yeah, there was I got a comment on one of the posts on my Instagram, and it's from a guy called Mark Coulter, and he said, I think it was 6-7 years ago when I did my first Euros, touched the first few obstacles, ripped my hand to shreds, and I finished like 30th or something, didn't keep any bands, and then over the years the training's got a lot better, and here we are.
And now you can finally grow some facial hair.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, now I'm allowed to. Yeah.
So no, well done, Dan. Big take off you, and don't forget there'll be a check coming your way at the awards as well, which is going to help you get to more Euro races next year.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So
congratulations.
Okay, cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
Take care, Dan.
Chris, I think we will leave it there. We was going to leave it there, but I think Will's got us some good interviews. We'll just quickly just catch last word with Will once he's put his earphones in. Will, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. We're going to log off, Will. So, but before we go, just tell our listeners where they can find you on Instagram and YouTube.
Oh, okay. Hello. Sorry.
I was just about to say I've got to get going anyway. You can find me at will.i.can, and on YouTube I think is Will Chung. Just search Tough Muddy and you'll see a Chinese guy, and that's me on YouTube.
I love that. Thank you, Will. Chris, thank you. Much appreciated jumping on. And to everyone who's watching, we will have the series out hopefully by the end of this month. Myself and James Burton are working really hard behind the scenes, and we are almost at a point where we can release. So watch this space, people.
Yeah. And don't forget to catch up on Who's Hot and UKOCR for everything.
And accountability.
And accountability.
Cheers, everyone.
See you, bye.